players and have them introduce themselves, and then we'll get started. I'm going to go left to right on my screen. Aaron, you're on the left, so if you tell us who you are and a little bit about your character.
Yeah, sure. My name's Aaron Van Sock, and I'm going to be playing, well, I am playing Lyndall Fear Not Wylock. He is a gnome. He is a rogue with the inquisitive archetype, and he is the greatest, if not only, detective in this world.
Excellent. Andre.
I'll be playing Denver Damaris. He is a hunter ranger, and he has been declared by his family and his elven society of wood elves as one of the 5 forests. And we'll find out what that actually means in the future. But for now, you'll know that Denver provides support with his ally and friend Yambagorn, whom he calls Yamba. And he tries to speak infrequently, but one key thing for those who are watching Denver always tries to speak in poignant or interesting quotes throughout the game.
I have some ideas on the 5 forests in the future. We'll get there. Dennis.
Wrong mouse. I'm Dennis. I'm playing Snowball, who is Wylock's bodyguard and Dragonborn cleric / healer.
Okay. John Poland.
Hi, I'm John. Well, obviously, as Rob just said. I am playing Dolan Orath II, Master of Sorcery, the greatest mind within this group, and probably the most powerful being in the planet.
Love it. Love it.
Oh, and I have a horse named Petunia.
Okay. And last but not least, John Large.
I'm John from Red Dice Diaries. I'm playing Yambagorn, a half-orc paladin, follower of Maliki, who follows the ancient ways, striving to maintain the balance between light and shadow in this world. And whilst modesty behooves me from raising myself up to the vaunted heights of my comrades, I endeavour to provide as much support to them, particularly my good elven friend Danver, and I also enjoy a cheeky cigar or two on the side.
You also seem to provide some pragmatic advice where,
it's a dirty job, but somebody has to do
it. Okay, so when we left off, you guys had just followed Gorvis and his assistant Yato down into the gold mines where he took you down a couple of levels where the missing adventurers that he hired 2 days earlier had disappeared. Basically, he tells you that the miners who were searching for new veins as part of their job broke through some rock and exposed an underground structure that looked like it was perhaps buried there, if not built there, although probably the former. The miners, when they found this, they were really bothered by it. It made them feel uncomfortable, and more importantly, they saw a religious symbol of black antlers, which they knew to be the symbol of the god Bashaba, a goddess of trickery. And they want nothing to do with this area. They figure it's cursed, and they're not, and it's affecting their work. So Gorvis, in response, hired some adventurers to go look into this to placate his other miners and get them back to work. They went into this place, and almost immediately the path they went in collapsed behind them. And they haven't been seen or heard from since, and that was 2 days ago. And this fact that they went in there and almost immediately there was a collapse, that just made this suspicious miners worse. Like, it just worsened them and made them strong in their convictions that this is a bad place. So I'm going to, oh, for sakes, I'm going to start by showing you the area that, so from, as you can see on the picture, this was the tunnel they dug, and when they broke through here, they found this area. This was like kind of opened. They found this area. They went and told Gorvis. He came down and looked. The symbol they of Bashaba, which was actually here. You can, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but it's in the southern pathway there. This has been collapsed. This is a tunnel the adventurers went in, and almost immediately it collapsed behind them. And on a chunk of rock that was on the ceiling and is now kind of on the ground is this symbol of black antlers, a symbol of Bashaba, goddess of trickery. There is another set. Gorvis mentioned that he and a few of the other miners are pretty sure that this path can get you in, but unfortunately this path is flooded, and you'll have to swim if you want to make your way that way. So let's start there. You can tell us maybe what's going on, what your character's thinking about, and then how you want to deal with this.
About how far into moving into this mine before we realize that Danver is back with us, or has he not returned with us?
Right. So it's a good point. So Danver, you went ahead, trying to find out as much as you could about this these orcs passing through, because that's certainly relevant to what you're interested in. And it was about 2 weeks ago, and you figure from the questions you asked about the size of and composition of their troops, you learned that they had a whole bunch of wagons and cargo that they never brought into the town. They kept outside of the town, guarded. That it could be related, but no one could tell you anything more about where they went except northwest along the road. They came from the southeast and left to the northwest. After that, you caught up with your companions, who you learned were investigating the mine.
Sounds good. Thank you.
So I imagine that I imagine that while that Lyndall is walking along the sort of the stone halls of the mine leading down towards our possible entrance, and he's kind of somewhere near the back, and then at some point he looks behind him and he sees that the elf is there, and he's, son of a bugbear, what are you doing back there?
Denver would just continue to walk past him and like gently pat him on the shoulder, and just say, "Oh, we'll be fine." And then he'd just walk directly to Yambagorn and like punch Yambagorn on the chest and say, "Are you okay?"
Clang.
So a little bit of a smile twisting my orcan face, because I'm used to Danver sort of like disappearing and then like reappearing. I turn to him, and in Elvish, an eloquent tongue that seems ill-suited to the sort of fanged tusked maw of Yambagorn's mouth, I say, Tanal Quel Alel Il Malanemen, which obviously he will know means it's good to see you, my friend.
Yambagorn would, Danver would smirk at the greeting, and then he would say, return in response, a greeting that is with a little bit of a tone of concern, as he realizes that Yambagorn has gone against his advice and put on the armor. And he looks at you, raises his eyes, and equally greets you and says, "Be careful."
Indeed, it was not a choice I took lightly to don this armor, but at the time we were potentially facing a tribe of ogres, and I needed to take whatever protection was necessary to, along with Snowball here, and I gesture at the tall dragonborn, to protect those of us who are somewhat weaker in physical contact.
Funny that you should say that. I saw some ogres on the way here. They were looking at red sheep dipped in paint.
Indeed, I managed to convince them, since they seemed lacking in wits, to put it mildly, that red sheep were poisonous, and then I advised the farmer to dye his sheep with... I forget the name of them in Elvish. You know those small berries you find on bushes that upset the stomach?
Versalva, yes.
Indeed, I hope that would deter them from attacking our farmers' sheep.
Fine. So we are here now. We must go in the cave. What does our brave leader say we should do?
Sort of hearing this and assuming himself to be the brave leader, Lyndall says, so I was thinking about this on our way here, and if this is a temple to Bashaba, this trickery goddess, it obviously stands to reason that beyond the normal dangers you would find in an underground temple, that it's that once we actually do reach the inside after crossing this water, it's possible that not much is as it seems. We should be very much on our toes when it comes to how we proceed inside. I wouldn't imagine it's a very straightforward place.
As Dan was saying this, I sort of walk across towards the flooded passageway to get a better look at it. How sort of far up the passageway does the water extend? Is it literally up to the ceiling of the passage?
Right. So it looks like the stairs descended into a hallway. And so part of the stairs are not submerged. Part of the stairs are covered in water. And then if you go down far enough, you're gonna have to like literally be going in completely underwater because it fills the hallway. You can also, if you want, I was just going to add, you can also, if you want, take a closer look at the collapse part as well.
Yeah, my plan at the minute is just to like literally walk down the stairs as far as I can go without being like underwater, so that I can peer at the actual passageway. And given that you've said that we'd have to swim, I'll turn to the others and say, the water seems to reach to the top of the passageway down here. If we're going to progress further in this direction, we will have to swim, or at least move on the water. I do not know how far this corridor extends. That may be a problem for us. If I stick my head underwater, Rob, using my sort of like low light vision, can I see the far end of the passage, or is it like that long, this submerged passage? No. I can't see the end of it.
No, but it's not due to darkness. It's just due to murkiness. You know what I mean? It's just that the water. I mean, eventually it does get dark, but it's just the water's like pea soup. Like
I take out my sword and I just sort of like under the water, just sort of like extend it and extend as far as I can without sort of like dipping my head under the water. Just see if I can like feel anything. Or I know it's probably not going to reach the end of the passageway, but you know.
Oh yeah, no, not even close. You don't even reach the bottom stair, but you can bounce the end of your sword off, and it feels like fairly solid stone steps leading down.
So again, so facing the other, I pop my head back up, turning to face the others, and say, the water is too dirty and murky for me to see how long this passageway is. Longer than the length of my sword arm and sword, but the passageway, and I sort of clang my sword a little on the walls to demonstrate, seems solid enough. But as you say, Lyndall, this is a temple to Bashaba, goddess of trickery. We should not take anything at face value in here. But if we are going to proceed down this passageway, we will need to hold our breath, or we will need to swim, or both. I believe that it is pointless to risk all of us to determine the extent of this passageway. I believe that, which is I believe normally we should stay together, I believe that one of us should move down the passageway and attempt to establish the length of it, perhaps with a rope tied around them so they can be pulled back if necessary.
Those of you who are in armor, is that practical for you, or are you going to have to?
I would certainly not be able to swim in my current armor, and Rob, would the passageway be like wide enough for me to take my shield down, or am I going to have to leave it behind?
Oh yeah, it's plenty wide. It's like a good 10, 12 feet wide.
Okay, I believe that I could walk in my current armor along the corridor, but obviously my progress would be slower, and given the lack of available breathing space in the passageway, this may prove a problem.
Denver will walk over to Dolan and say, "What do you say, mage? Is there trickery here?"
Dolan has a frown on his face, just staring shotgun bullets towards Yambagorn. There may not be trickery involved with this, but I surely can tell you that I am not getting in that. My books will not survive. My clothing will not survive. My supplies will not survive. And I'm not going to go spelunking in some ancient artifact dungeon without my gear. That seems to make no sense to me.
At this point, Yambagorn's voice takes on a slightly sort of like harsher edge, and he says, "But if we do not venture into this dungeon, then the adventurers that are in there will definitely not survive."
Well, it is one thing that we must remember. We have been told that a hag is within this place. Remember, hags breathe water and fear. The question is, and he taps Dolan on the chest. He says, "The question is, which one you dare to tread?" Now, we have to go this way, Dolan, and we need your help. You cannot fear this. You must come with us.
Dolan rubs his chest, backs up a little bit, sighs. Well, before we make any decisions, we should investigate everything. And he will turn and head towards the other quarter to check out that. Hopefully there's a pass through there or something.
Danvers smiles at Yambagorn, and then he flips him a gold piece. He goes, "You were right."
Snowball, do you got anything to contribute? Being a cleric, you might know something about temples.
The evil temples. They're good temples. Where are we standing again? Can you make an X or something?
I think we're just in the sort of half circle chamber near the two passages at the moment. And as we're sort of looking at it, Yambagorn will walk over to Snowball, and then I'll say, "Snowball, you're a person of faith like myself, and I respect you for the strength of your faith. What do you think we should do?" Dolan does have a point. We should thoroughly investigate, but I am ill-suited for such work, so I leave it to those who are far wiser than myself. What do you believe we should do?
The mother teaches us that we must take what is given. I
Wise
am
words.
only armored with my natural skills, so I can easily swim in, but someone has to stay back and protect the little man.
If you are willing to swim through the tunnel and see how long the passage is, I give you my word that I will remain here and I will protect your charge with every last breath in my body if that is what is required.
Do not. She hands you a shield, 3 spears, and a hammer.
I sort of look at them for a moment and then like put my own shield and like big sword down and go, "Thank you." And like put it next to me.
Excuse me, Rob. I just have a question. Were we given a map?
Yeah.
We were?
No, you were not. You were not given a map.
Okay,
because
that's the only
this
question
place was recently discovered. It was just recently uncovered.
Okay.
Gorvis, with Dolan, he points at the south chamber. He says, "They only went in there like 10 seconds, and the whole place came down."
The whole place. Did you at least investigate? Did you try to dig in at all?
I believe his men were too scared and
did I
afraid
what
of the
now?
sign.
Try to uncover
I'm
that.
no adventurer.
It doesn't take an adventurer to move rocks. Obviously, someone of your brain power can do that.
Dolan,
Well, yes, I can
believe,
move rocks.
I believe from what he was telling us earlier that his men were too frightened by the sign of Bathsheba to risk attempting to excavate the area. It's possible we may have better luck.
I'm no adventurer. I don't go looking for trouble. I just want to get the mine up and running again. I hired some adventurers to deal with the problem. They've gone missing, and now I'm hiring another group of adventurers. It's costing me plenty.
Have you actually paid them ahead of time?
Well, no.
Then it cost you nothing, except for their lives, perhaps. Perhaps you should get some men down here and try to take some of these rocks out, see if there's a way through. I am not a miner. I am great at everything but that.
Yato and I looked, and we think that while you could move a few of the rocks, you risk more collapse if you take them out. Feel free to dig for yourself.
While they're having this conversation, I'm sort of stood at the back with Snowball. I take a rope out of my pack and I say, Snowball, if you are willing to enter into the flooded tunnel, then I believe I should tie this rope around your waist. If you're in any trouble, you can pull on it, and we will haul you back with all the strength we can muster along the passage to get you out of danger as quickly as possible.
So lifts her arm up.
I sort of loop the rope around and sort of double knot it. And
Okay, so you're going down into the water then, swimming, Snowball, with a rope tied around your waist. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
If I see him doing that, can I want to interject? Wait, Snowball, wait, don't go in the water yet, please. Let's think about this. Are you good at swimming? Did you remove all your gear, your food, your other things?
I assume we left our travel supplies upstairs, or do we carry them down here?
Either way, I'm assuming your horses are not in the mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, she doesn't really carry much more than that. Maybe a healer's kit, so she'll throw her adventuring backpack to Amber on as well.
I throw that over my shoulder, and in response to Dolan's question about Snowball's kit, I point to like the shields and the spears that I've sort of as neatly as I can sort of like piled up next to me, and then say, everyone else take hold of the rope behind me. If Snowball is in trouble, I would pull her out of danger as quickly as possible.
Danvers stands next to Fear Not and Dolan, and he tells them to back up with him, and he says the following. He says, "Come stay close to me. The Underdark is my second home, but in order for me to be more comfortable there, we must get deeper into this cave. Let these two work this out, and let's see what happens."
Fine, I guess. I just may have another... If it's too far, Snowball, come back. There might be a way that I can get by some of this, but...
She nods and takes a deep breath, filling her lungs with air, and dives in.
Okay. Do you want to walk like to the bottom and then like walk along the bottom or swim along the bottom, or do you want to swim like near the ceiling top?
Near the bottom.
Okay. So you go walking down to the bottom. There's solid steps. When you get to the bottom, it feels like there's a lot of maybe like sticks or something on the bottom, about 6 inches deep. You push off the ground from them and you start swimming. You swim for he's gone for about 30 seconds. I'll get you to note your how long you can breathe for. Remember, it's 1 minute for every con mod with a minimum of 30 seconds. If you take damage when you're underwater, the amount of rounds you have left you can breathe are halved every time you take damage. Okay.
So 2.5 minutes.
Right on. So you're gone about 30 seconds. You're swimming along. You've proceeded maybe about 30 feet, and something wraps around your leg and starts tugging on your leg. It feels like maybe a rope or a snake, and it's got something that's kind of poking into your leg.
Like piercing her leg.
Yep. You take 9 points of damage as this maybe a barbed rope or a snake with teeth bites into your leg.
Okay.
You on the other end, you might feel the rope thrash a little bit, or
Yeah, I'm going to hold on to it. I'm not going to pull back yet because I'm waiting for like the double tug from Snowball.
Mhm.
It's a signal that she wants to be pulled.
We'll let Snowball react first.
Okay. And she can't see what it is.
No, you can't see more than like an inch in this shit.
Okay, okay, if it's that murky. She will exhale dragon breath on it.
Haha, excellent.
Saving throw.
This is to dodge out of the way, right?
I guess.
Yeah, I'm not even going to make. I fail. Do your damage.
Yeah, so there's another reason I thought Snowball would be a good call for like going down the narrow corridor.
So it takes 11 points of damage from frost. Or cold, whatever.
It immediately releases you. You're not sure if it's dead or broken or whatever, but it immediately releases you.
Okay, so if it took 30 minutes and she spent 30 minutes, so
30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds. So she'll swim back since she can't keep her breath for much longer.
Okay.
Okay.
By my estimate, you still had 2 minutes or so of air, but
didn't you say if I took damage, I would half it?
Oh yeah, half. So you still had a minute and a half of air or something like that. That ballpark.
Okay, well, if in that case, she will.
How long is the rope?
Hold on a second.
50 feet.
Should be 50 feet.
Yeah, it's standard 50 feet. Yeah.
Okay. You're gonna keep swimming then?
Yeah, I mean she will. Yeah, she'll keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Keep swimming.
So when you reach the end of the rope, you also seem to find footing because you're not on the bottom. You're somewhere closer to the surface. You seem to like touch bottom now, just as you reach the end of the rope. So in other words, the bottom is closer to you now. If that makes sense.
Okay.
You weren't touching bottom when you were swimming, and now you are. You do touch bottom just as the rope reaches its limit.
Okay. So she'll swim back then after the rope has reached its limit.
Okay.
I guess the others
splash.
Could see no.
See this greenish liquid running off of her white scales.
I offer an arm down to help like pull her up the steps and start untying the rope as Snowball gets back.
She takes it. There's something in the water that bit me. And she looks at her leg, bleeding.
Did you require aid?
No, I think I killed it. But
I meant for your wound.
No, I can deal with it. But I don't think we're gonna get that way. Unless you're really good at holding your breath.
I could probably hold my breath for a couple of minutes, but less if under exertion. And obviously, I would have to leave a good deal of my armor and weaponry behind.
I don't know if I'd be able to keep my breath underwater that long. Not a very. If we all have to make our way through that, I'm not equipped for. These lungs aren't equipped for that kind of that kind of swimming.
Perhaps Dolan's suggestion to look on the rocky face where this, and he points to this, the symbol of the unholy symbol of the god Bashaba, and he says where this symbol is, this rock or thing that is carved out in the symbol of Yashaba. What can we do with this, Dolan? Is there anything that you can make that may perhaps this is casting some sort of magic or spell that is blocking this path? What do you think?
While he's thinking, John, sorry, Rob, I'm gonna get out my kit and clean the wound and heal myself.
Sure. And I just sent you a message up here.
I am not sure. And he kind of looks over at the symbols that are around, and I don't think that there's anything inherently magic, though divine magic is not something that I am a master of. That goes more into Snowball's range. I mean, I could detect magic in the area, but we are limited in the power that I have per day, and that may not be our best choice. I can. He really, you see his face consternates really strangely, and then he looks up. He says, "I can get through the water if that is what we want."
Good.
Do you wish us to try excavating the other tunnel first, Dolan? I am no miner, but I have strength in my muscles, if that can be of use.
Well, that's
Is that a good idea? I mean, if the dwarf said the tunnels will collapse, I mean, who knows more about rocks than those folk?
All right. I only ask because I believe that this particular symbol of this god may have something to do with the behavior of the cave. It just seems quite coincidental that they would have passed through this specific passage and all of a sudden the rocks would have collapsed. Regardless, I agree with Master Dolan in that Snowball would be the best to either decipher whether or not this specific seal or artifact is cursed, but now that we know that Master Dolan can actually go through the water, we have nothing to fear except for finding a way for getting our fearless leader through as well, and then we can continue on.
Yeah, when you look at the pile of rubble, it looks like the symbol was on the ceiling. You know, like maybe like at the front of a door, there'd be kind of like a facing. And when the last group of adventurers went through and the thing came down, that symbol was part of the rocks that came down. So it's just now lying in a chunk on the floor amongst lots of the other rubble.
If you do not mind me asking, Master Dolan, what method would you use to speed your passage through the water? I do not wish to pry into any of your arcane secrets. I'm sure I would not understand them anyway. But how will this work in layman's terms?
I have studied and mastered the ability to change my form, and I can make it so that I can swim well and breathe water if needed.
That is good. However, it will, and indeed a testament to your arcane prowess, but it will not help. It will not help our leader make it through the water.
I don't think you wanna breathe this water. It's very, very dirty and almost dead.
I tend to look at Dolan and say, Dolan, you are our leader in this enterprise. Which path do you wish to follow? Do you wish to risk the murky water or attempt to excavate the southern tunnel? I will attempt to help as best as I can in either case.
You're talking to Lindell, right?
Lindell.
Oh yeah, sorry, my mistake.
How long is a round in D&D 5th edition?
6 seconds.
So if you had a con of 14, you could hold your breath for 2 minutes or 20 rounds.
Snowball, were you able to get to the other side? Were you able to breathe on the other side?
I didn't get. I have to go down again and check.
Well, no. Now that we know that Dolan can actually get down in the water, change his form, and get to the other side, we can find out whether or not there is an open passage and what is on the other side, and not put you at more risk. You have been harmed. Let him go now.
Oh, by the way, Rob, what did the wound look like?
Oh, so it looked like maybe 8 or 10 small puncture marks. Roughly evenly spaced out, but not perfectly evenly spaced out.
There's something in the water. I don't know if it's a trap or critters, but there's something in the water that bites.
I thought
What I will.
you said you cleared it. Did you not kill it, you said, when you came out?
Well, I don't know if it got all of them or if there are even more.
What I will suggest, I can hold my breath for at least a couple of minutes. If Master Dolan is willing to put himself in danger to explore these tunnels, I will take off my armor and leave my shield, and I will go with him. I can use the protection of Miliki to shield me against some of the worst danger down there, and I can accompany him. If he does find himself in danger, I'll certainly be able to buy him time to get himself free and return down the passageway. I would be ashamed to be more too afeared to go into a passage if Master Dolan is willing to risk himself.
Danver would look over towards Fear Not, Lyndall, and he would kind of nod and, trying to imply that that's actually a very good idea. But he won't say anything because he wants Lyndall to bless it.
You're all very aware of your own capabilities. I think at this point the one thing that we don't have is information. So I say that we need more knowledge about what's on the other side of that water, or about how much of a journey we actually have under there. So whatever we can do to get at least one person on the other side, I'd agree with. So whoever think they can do that safest, I completely approve.
Very well then. Master Dolan, will you give me 10 minutes to remove my armor, and then I will accompany you?
I will need time to prepare and place my gear down. Yambergorn, perhaps I can swim very fast. You may actually slow me down, but I do appreciate your wanting to go with me. Perhaps though with the rope you can pull me out as you did with Snowball if something goes wrong, and I would rather have your strength here to save my ass than accompany me and perhaps both of us drown.
At which point I smile and I put a gnarled hand on his shoulder and then say, "Your bravery does you credit, Master Dolan. If I'm not to accompany you, will you at least allow me to bestow the blessings of Miliki upon you and may give you some small protection?"
I would accept it gratefully.
So as I put my hand on his shoulder, I sort of tilt my head backwards as I'm looking up at the ceiling a little bit, and I say, "Miliki, bless this person who travels into great danger to rescue others, who balances this darkness with light, as all things must have balance. Protect him from harm in the dark places where he swims." And I cast protection from evil on him, so he should be protected against aberrations, celestials, elementals, fey fiends, and undead for 10 minutes.
Okay. I'm going to have Yambagorn and Snowball make me religion checks. This is religious knowledge.
Okay. That's a 19 for me without my modifier, so...
Excellent.
13.
So one thing you guys would both know, at least regarding temples in general, is that, well, yeah, there might be challenges to them. Temples were also primarily designed so that worshipers of that god or goddess could come in and worship. So it wouldn't just be, a gauntlet of things to hurt you with. They do want to have worshipers in there worshiping the gods. That's a large part of how gods have their power. So
thinking about that, as I finish casting the protection from evil on Dolan, I'm going to walk over, and the symbol of Besheba that you said was lying there, is it like loose, like could it be picked up, or?
It's on a big chunk of granite, a rock, and it's carved and then painted. And it's basically a set of large black intertwining tangly antlers.
So it's actually like carved into the rock. It's not something that could be like prized off or...
Right. It's carved in the rock and then painted.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take like some of the berries I collected last session, scrunch a few of them up in my gauntleted hand, dip my finger in it, and then I'm going to walk over to Dolan and I'll say one more thing, Dolan. Before you travel into this this watery tunnel, when you transform yourself, your clothes, your effects, are they part of your transformation? I apologize, I do not have the arcane knowledge that you do.
No, it will be me alone. I will not be wearing my clothes, though, at least for a long while.
I was going to suggest that if you transform here, it may help if and I'll sort of show you like the berries I've got in my hand, if I paint the symbol of Besheba on you, since temple gods may be trained to respond to that symbol. I'm not sure how well it will last in the water, though.
Dolan raises an eyebrow and then kind of looks towards Snowball. I guess if you could just paint it on my back, I guess.
Indeed.
Thanks.
The juice from these berries is fairly thick. It should last for a small time underwater. And I will obviously wait for you to transform before I do so.
Okay, so if no one else is going to do anything, Dolan will kneel down, take off all his gear, place his backpack on the ground, but keep his large pouch. When he does so, he places the gear kind of in the corner and kind of looks over at Danver and nods, then looks back, and his hand glows slightly, and then for a split second, his bags glow, and he looks over once again at the group and says, "I've protected this. If anyone tries to steal these, they will be cursed." And then he steps forward.
I was giving you an inspiration point for that. That was fucking beautiful.
I'll just smile at you and I'll say, your curse will be the least of their problems if they attempt to steal your effects while we are
here. He smiles and turns away for a second to hide his smirk, and then casts a quick chant, and a piece of leather disappears from his hand. His entire body is covered with a magical suit of armor, which disappears, and as it fades, a secondary shield of energy kind of courses around him for a split second. And then he begins immediately chanting again, moving his hand in arcane movements, and you immediately see the side of his neck begin to open, fluctuating as if he has gills. And as he holds up his hands, and you see his naked feet, obviously he's just wearing a loincloth, you see that his fingers kind of extend and become webbed.
So as that transformation is complete, I step forward and take in this sort of like gummy, sticky residue from the berries that I've crushed on his back. I'm going to take I'm not going to rush, but doing it as quickly as I can, I'm going to paint the symbol of Bathsheba on his back.
That tickles.
The symbol of Bathsheba. Is that what you said?
Indeed, since the guardians of this temple may be trained to respond to worshippers who bear the symbol of the god.
Okay.
And as I sort of like finish painting that, I sort of like pat Dolan on the shoulders and then say, again, your bravery does you credit, Master Dolan.
Dolan smiles, kind of like a half smirk, kind of that, okay, I don't know how brave I am. But he places his staff down, reaches into his bag, and pulls out a length of hardened wood that he carries in his backpack. Kind of tucks it in, holds it close to his left hand, and then jumps into the water without saying anything.
Obviously, I'm assuming
yeah.
I'll have tied the rope around him before he jumps into the water.
Sure. Yeah, you can walk into the water, jump in as you see fit, and you go off swimming. The rest of you are waiting. Is that the plan?
Yeah, I'm gonna be sort of at the top of the steps, holding the rope, ready to like haul his ass back out if we need to.
I don't want to interrupt things too far or get because this is a very important part. But I do have a question for the individuals that were here mining. What were their names again? Because I lost my chat because I dropped my.
I didn't post it there.
Gorams and Erag. It's Gorans and Erag. Is that who they are?
There's the name of Gorvis. And Yato.
Yes.
Gorvis runs the mine. Yato is his assistant. These are the names of the 4 adventurers who went missing. Gorvis will supply you with that.
So Gorvis is here with us now, correct?
Oh yeah. Yep.
And he was in charge.
None of the other miners are anywhere near here.
But he was in charge of the excavation or the mining?
He's in charge of the mine. He runs the mine.
Oh,
he wants to get back to mining.
I immediately walk up to him and I say, Gorvis, do you have a map to this mine?
Well, yeah, I don't see what good it's going to do you. It's all back that way.
Well, could you go get it for us, please, while we wait?
Okay. So he sends Yato to go get it. What is it you're thinking of?
I'm thinking the more familiar we are with this specific structure, as well as its descent, the better it is for us.
Well,
go ahead.
To be fair, Denver, he only has the map of the mine that he works at. He has no idea about the structure of the temple or its dimensions.
We didn't ken this was even here.
I see. So, still, I'll use the map, and if the temple breaks off into areas that the map does cover, it will be beneficial to us.
Okay, so he brings you a map of a mine, and you can see that you're down about 3 layers, 3 levels, if you will. Each level maybe 20 feet deeper than the rest. So you're about 50 or 60 feet underground at this point. The mine paths are kind of chaotic in that they just followed the veins as they discovered them and mined them out.
Oh, just to let you know,
this is like on the extreme end of one arm.
Just to let you know, if any of the creature types that I've listed, if they attempt to attack Dolan while he's for the next 10 minutes while he's under the protection spell I've put on him, they'll have disadvantage on attack rolls, and he can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed by them.
Excellent. So are you waiting till this map comes back before you leave, Dolan, or is this happening like a meanwhile?
It was never intended. It was never intended to stop them. I just wanted to have this quick conversation, and they're still doing their thing.
It's cool. It's cool. I just want to know. All right. So Dolan goes off for a swim. You can see that this water is. It is water you're swimming through, but it's just got lots and lots of algae in it. You know what I mean? Like it's become green and kind of slimy in that sense. What is your AC currently? You're muted, Dolan. God damn it.
It's 14.
You feel something lash at your leg, but it doesn't. It fails to grip on. Like you feel a slight scraping against your leg, but it doesn't do you harm.
No, I swim way fucking fast as I can.
Okay, so you get to another set of stairs that lead up out of this water.
I will actually quickly get out of the water. I know that there could be danger ahead, but the reality is I don't want some sort of tentacle thing taking care of me.
I presume at about this point it'll.
I understand. I didn't catch that.
I presume at this point it'll have reached the end of the rope, because that's about where it got to previously.
Yeah, you would have reached the other side just as the rope reached its limit. So you would have had to untie the rope to go up these stairs and get out of the water. But I'm going to say you did that.
Yeah, I definitely would have pulled that off. And as I'm walking up the stairs, I take my hand and kind of lash it out with that wooden rod, and green energy flows from my hand, wraps around the rod, and it seems to reinforce it.
Okay, so I guess the rope comes back empty.
Right, so as the rope goes slack in my hands, I just sort of let go of the end of the rope and I immediately start like pulling my armor off.
Rob, if there's no danger immediately that I can see, I want to cast a spell, but if there's something immediately, obviously I'll react to that instead. I don't know what I see.
You see a set of stairs leading up into a room. I'm going to show you the map when other eyes can see it.
Okay.
But you see a set of stairs leading up into a room and a set of stairs leading down into this green water. You seem to be alone at the moment.
As Amgon is pulling off his armor, I'm taking the rope and I'm going to tie it around Lendl.
Okay.
Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna swim through with the rope, and you're gonna feel a yank, and I'm gonna pull you through the water as fast as I can.
If you think that'll help.
As soon as I got through, Rob, I would have turned and then pointing in that direction, I would have sent a message to Denver saying, "I am."
Oh, nice. The message cantrip. Excellent.
There is a creature still in the water.
Denver would look.
So
at
you
the
would have
rest of
received
the
that
party.
message mentally.
Yes.
Denver.
Yeah. Denver would look at the rest of the party, and then he would say, "Dolan tells me he is safe, and he is on the other side. We must proceed with haste."
I'll just look at you and nod and carry on, like tugging my armor off and like loosening the leather straps, etc.
She borrows.
Wait a second. First of all, I'm giving Andre an inspiration point here for making no mention of the creature that Dolan told him about. There's still a creature there. Yep, it's perfectly safe. You can go now.
I didn't hear him say that. That's my mistake on role playing, but yeah, I'm not going to change it, and I'm not going to wreck on it. I'm going to just leave it like that. But they already knew that there was a creature. Freaking Snowball came back harmed.
To be fair, it wouldn't have made any difference. You'd have known it wouldn't have made any difference to me anyway. I'd have still been like, I'm going in.
Sorry, Dennis, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I appreciate the inspiration regardless. Thank you.
She's gonna borrow a small piece of parchment and write something on it, pin it to a Lendl, and cast Shield of Fate on him. That lasts 10 minutes and gives him a +2 to AC.
Okay.
And then she's gonna swim through very, very fast.
Well, who's next? That's all I want to know. Who's going next?
Well,
Are you going at the same time? Two could easily go at the same time. I mean,
I was going to say, if I've got time, I'll look to go at the same time as Snowball. I'm basically going to like hide my armor under like a pile of rocks that I'll gather from like the rocks around, and then
Gorvis will take care of it for you if you want.
In which case, I'll just nod at him and say, "See that it is well protected." And then I'm just going to like, strap my sword to my back, get my like hand axe, so like holding it between my teeth. It's only like the smallest weapon I've got. And I'm just going to walk up, stand on the side of the step next to Snowball, look at her, give a nod, and then presumably both at the same time dive into the water.
Okay. She's gonna empty her backpack of her rations and put in, like, keep some stuff in it and try to wrap her hammer and stuff in it to kind of make a small bundle and put that on her back. And swim with that.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, your movement speed includes your gear, assuming you're not encumbered. So yes.
Just to check, Rob, can I swim in chainmail or my chain shirt, or do I have to take that off as well?
Well, it'll make your swimming will be. I think stuff you do will be at disadvantage, but there's no rule that says you can't swim in chainmail.
In which case, I can't afford to be at a disadvantage. I'm going to take it off.
However, I would not penalize you for like bringing it with you.
It's fine. I'll take it off and leave it. We can't afford stuff that will slow us down.
Okay. Your movement speed will still be the same, right? It's half of your swim speed is half your movement speed. As long as you're unencumbered, it doesn't matter if you're, you have weight or not. Okay, so then Yambagorn and Snowball are going next. I have that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so on the swim, each of you feel this attack. Snowball, the attack comes and you quickly, maybe even instinctively react and shake your leg out of it. You just feel a slight scraping across your leg as these things slide off. But Yambagorn, this rope or snake or whatever it is, or wraps around and sinks in. It deals you 9 points of damage, and you're now being held by this thing.
Okay, that's fun.
Fuck it. Does he notice that?
Does what?
Does he notice that he's being held back?
I'm not sure how. You can only see a couple of inches. He could call out or something. How do you respond?
I'm underwater. Basically, what I'm going to do is sort of taking the hand axe between my teeth, sort of obviously feeling where this thing's grabbed me, presumably around the leg or something similar. I'm going to hack at it with my hand axe.
Make an attack. Make an attack.
Okay, just give me a second. I just want to check something. Okay, I'm also going to use my Divine Favor spell, so I'll be doing like an extra 1d4 radiant damage to this thing if I hit it. Okay.
Yep.
Just bear with me while I trigger the dice roll.
You need a 12.
So I've hit it, so it's going to be 1d6 2 plus 1d4.
What was the damage you did? I didn't get the total.
8 points of damage, 4 of which are radiant damage, if that makes any difference.
You've freed yourself. You cut through it or killed it or whatever. Your leg is no longer grabbed.
Okay, since I was attacking it, and presumably I had to lean down to hack at it. Did I get any more of a visual on what it looked like? So I know we can only see a few inches, but I'd have had to have been quite close to it to hack it with the hand axe.
Something snake-like or rope-like, and you cut right through it.
Okay, can I make a suggestion? As I'm cutting right through it, what I'm going to try and do is I'm effectively going to. So I'm assuming it's. And I may be wrong. This is what my character's assuming. I'm assuming it's like a tentacle or something similar, or a vine or something. What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and actually grab hold of it, because I know some of the other guys are behind me, and I don't want them to get caught up by it as well. So I'm basically trying to get it to focus on me, grabbing its tentacle and just hacking at it, hoping the others can swim past.
This is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that the part that was wrapped around your leg, you can grab that part. But the other part retracts really, really quickly. Or perhaps you just cut it like a rope, or you killed it.
So I've hacked off one, but I'll grab hold of the other bit, and if I can, I don't even know if I can see any of the others. But if they're anywhere near me, I'm just going to wave my hand to sort of tell them to hurry past. I don't know if they can see me or not, but I'm just going to try and hold this thing for as long as I can.
You know that Snowball is swimming right beside you. The part you're holding is not moving at all. It's like a limp piece of rope.
Okay, I'm gonna wait for the others then.
So Snowball, are you just swimming on then?
Yeah, I mean, if I can't see them.
Yep, you reach the other side. You come up the stairs. You still have a rope in your hand and a bundle in your other hand.
Okay, he drops the bundle on dry land and grabs the rope.
Dolan is there too.
I'm gonna assume I can pull Lyndall faster than he can swim.
Sure.
So she gets a good grab on the rope and a little talk to kind of warn him something is coming now.
Okay.
She's gonna wait 5 seconds and then she's gonna start yanking him through really fast.
All right. So Denver, you see Lyndall just take off like a shot into the water.
Just to let you know, by the way, Rob, I have the protection fighting style. So if there's anyone within 5 feet of me, who gets attacked by this thing while I'm wrestling with it, it'll be attacking them at disadvantage. Oh no, actually no, forget that because I have to be wielding a shield. My mistake.
Yeah, it's okay. I used to play that build. It's a fun build. So, Lyndall, you get tugged right through this murky water. At some point, you do think you feel something touch your waist, maybe, but then it's gone again. It's fleeting, and you're pulled out of the other side where Dolan and Snowball await.
Thank you. I guess.
You okay? She checks him for any puncture marks or anything.
Fine. No, I felt something brush against me, but nothing. I thought you had him. I didn't see anything down there.
All right, so Danver would grab the remaining end of the rope that he now has seen gone limp. Is that correct?
There's no remaining rope. Linda was hanging on to it, and he just used it to get pulled through.
All right, Danver would take.
You're there with Yato and Gorvis.
All right, so does Yato bring back the map?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you can see that there are maybe areas above this geographically. You're about 50 or 60 feet deep, and it's like the mine is pretty much like a central tunnel with arms coming off of it, and then up more and more arms coming off. Right. And it's a little bit spider-like, but it's also chaotic. It's like wherever they just followed the veins they found.
But okay, and this specific corridor that we're going down is straight according to the map.
So basically, if you imagine a column coming down and then an arm going off a long ways, and then this, it's like the extreme bottom end of an arm.
But if I don't have a rope, based upon what I see in the map, I know I'm going to have to walk straight. Is that correct? Because I won't know. No. I won't know where I'm going. Okay. All right. So I'm just.
But I will say that you can still tell direction, like north, south, east, west, and so you're roughly facing east right now.
All right, so that's fine. As long as I persist on walking east, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take both my daggers out, spin them in my hands, and walk into the water, light-footed like, and begin to just swim as fast as I can eastwardly.
Okay.
All right.
So you and Yamagorn both rolled ridiculously well. Feel these ropes, snakes, something wrap around you and bite into you. You each take 9 points of damage, and you're both currently grappled.
All right, let me just update my hit points. Okay.
As soon as she made sure that Linda was okay, she's going to grab one of her spears and dive into the water again.
Okay, excellent. I'm going to let Danver and Yamagorn respond first.
I'll let Yama go first because he was attacked first.
Okay, so I'm sorry, go ahead.
So, I was just gonna say, it seems like another one of these things has wrapped around your leg, and it's trying to hold you fast.
Okay, can I see Danver from where I am?
You can get an outline of him, but that's about all. Like you can just vaguely kind of see his outline.
Okay, no problems. Having a quick sort of obviously I've been in this sort of spot for a while. Are there any loose pieces of rock or slate or anything like that?
No, the ceiling is just kind of like if you went like this, you probably touch ceiling.
Okay, no problems. In which case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to once again cast protection from evil, and I'm going to cast it on Danver if he's near enough to me.
Sure.
And that'll take one action, and then I'm just going to hack with my axe or whatever's attacking me.
Can you cast that spell as a minor action? Because otherwise it's a standard action.
It says one action.
Well, then you also can't also attack.
Okay, in which case I cast that on Danver.
Okay. Danver. Oh, although you can, as a move action, try to escape. You can try and break free using strength or wiggle free using dexterity.
I'll try and break free with strength.
So we're going to do a contest here. So just make me a strength check.
modifier is. 17.
17, you said?
Yep.
Yeah, you wrench your leg free, like you overcome the strength of whatever was holding you and wrench it free. Denver.
Okay, so how many of these tentacle or arms are on me?
There's one that's wrapped around your leg, holding
right.
you fast, biting into you.
All right, so we are engaged, full contact. It's wrapped around my legs, and I have 2 daggers in my hands. So
Yes.
I should be able to slip a dagger between my leg and that arm and just lift up, and that's what I intend to do.
Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead. So I'm going to have you make me an attack roll. I'm going to give you advantage on this.
All right. 13 with the advantage.
Give me some damage. Give me some damage.
4.
So you cut through this thing, whatever it is, and it lets go. You're now free.
All right. So my move action is, because I'm assuming that I kind of turn around to cut. So my move action would be to like bend down as low as I can, and then just do a spring jump in the water, and then just turn around swimming towards the opposing side.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. You managed to reach the other side, like just get your head popped free on the other side as you kind of come up these stairs. You are still constrained by whatever is holding you. I don't do any more damage to you, but just note that your air is going to be running out, right? And when you take damage. So
Who, me?
Halved. Nope, not you.
Oh.
Just Yemagorn. He's the last one in the water.
Don't forget
You are on the other side with
three
the
of
other
it. Don't forget.
All right. Sorry. I said correctly.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do? It's your turn. My bad.
Yeah, I'm just going to be, now I can sort of see that Dan was free and I'm free. I'm just going to be like swimming as fast as I can towards the other end.
Excellent. So you also come free. So here is an updated map. As you guys can see, you can see like a room there.
Okay, so as I sort of like walk up the steps at the other end, so like just a few moments after Dan, but you can see that like all like one side of like my right leg is like there's all these sort of like almost like thorn marks all over them. There's like a bit of blood like trickling out of them.
Denver runs to you immediately, and he will cast Cure Wounds on him. And it'll
You cast it, you roll it.
All right, so 1d8 plus my spell casting modifier, which is 3 or 5. 3. So here it goes. 1d8 plus 3. 4 plus 7. 7 hit points back to Yamagorn.
I nod and smile as I'm still sort of like taking like deep breaths in as we've come out of the water. And I just sort of look around to make sure that everyone else has made it out of the water safely.
Yeah. If anyone else wants to react or respond to that, carry on.
I would just say, are you fine? Is everything okay?
I am hurt, but I will survive.
I assume I get out of the water too.
Danver would run to Snowball, and he would be extremely concerned about her, and he would say, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, I'm okay.
He would obviously. Danver's going to be making his rounds to make sure everyone is okay, and that'll just be the end of that. Because I think Yamagorn was the one that got damaged the most.
I mean, who's bleeding?
There is a little blood on my wound, but it is not fatal. Save your faith until we really need it, Snowball.
And the elf?
Yeah, Danver would look at Snowball, and he would say, "With your courtesy, I could use all the help I can get now."
Okay, so we'll get out her healing kit. What supplies she stole from the hospice. And she will wrap his leg and remove if there's any stingers in there, and tend to his wound and heal 13 points. Oh,
right,
sorry, 12 points. You only level 3.
All right, I'm back to my max. Thank you very much, Snowball. That was awesome.
So looking around, obviously, Master Dolan's the one who came out to the water first. I look over in his direction and I'll say, "Where to now, Master Dolan?"
Should we take care of that tentacle thing in the water?
No, we must proceed. It's not going to leave the water and come for us, I don't think.
Although Yambagor did bring out a sample, as I recall.
Yeah. As you look, you can see,
see
I've basically got the sample over my shoulder.
It's definitely a vine, a long, maybe inch-thick vine with little thorns sticking out of it, like every 4 or 5 inches.
Snowball looks at it. A plant?
Denver would walk up to the plant and he would analyze it, and he would say, some form of living vine that probably feeds a larger flowered head. But we would not know unless we would investigate it further. It would not be wise for us to enter into the water again. I say we just proceed on. And is anyone experiencing any form of poison or dizziness that has been struck?
I do not believe so.
No.
Well, then it should just be fine. Just, we've got caught up in its grip and we luckily survived, so we should proceed.
So in this room, you can see that there is just the faintest remnants of furniture, wood, but old enough to be rotted into like just bits of pulp.
Did Yamagon bring his seal? I'm sorry.
No, I didn't know.
Okay.
I couldn't swim with it.
Snowball will read and give him her seal.
I take it off you and sort of test it in my arm and say, "Thank you."
Yeah, maybe adjust the straps a little bit to suit you, but sure. There is a symbol on the wall here. It's the same symbol of Bashava you saw outside the temple. There's a door, which is made of solid stone, and a passageway which runs south and then bends west. One thing of interest here is that the ceiling is, in most places, rock is broken through the ceiling. Like it's almost as if the rock pressed it in on above and, broke through in places.
DM, would this be classified, since we're 60 feet underground inside of a temple and beneath the surface, would this be classified as the Underdark?
No, not even close.
Okay.
I look over to Lyndall and say, "Lyndall, where do you wish us to proceed next? I can see there is a door ahead of us and another passageway to my right," and I sort of point a gnarled talon in the direction. "You are our leader. Which way do you wish to choose?"
Well, I'd like to investigate the collapse of the part where the adventurers walked through not 10 seconds before it collapsed. So if we could head down that way.
You wish to take the passage then?
I suppose so, yes. At least go to that the other side of that entrance.
So I sort of heft up the shield that Snowball has lent to me, and I'll sort of try and place myself towards the front of the party, look over my shoulder briefly to check that everyone's behind me, and I'll start sort of advancing with the shield in front of me, sheathe my hand axe, get my sword out, and start sort of moving down the passageway, keeping an eye out for any threats.
Sure. The room to the south, there's no door. It's just like an entryway. It bends back west, and it goes for about 50 or 60 feet, and then ends in another doorway, and you can see a room beyond that. Now, it's dark in here, so you have dark vision, which is effectively low light vision in my games, John. But in pitch black, you're as blind as anyone, and it's getting pretty much pitch black here. So how you guys want to deal with that?
I turn and look back over my shoulder towards Master Dolan and say, alas, I was not able to bring any of my torches with me. Master Dolan, would you be able to provide us any light on this situation?
If you're asking about a good idea, perhaps I can come up with something. I will reach into my one pouch that I took. I pull out a torch, and then I will use prestidigitation to just magically dry it as best I can, and then snap my finger, sparking it till it starts up. If it doesn't, I'll pull out my oil, but if it starts...
It does. So you light the torch. So as I said, you can see this hallway continues into another room with a doorway. I'm not going to show you the map quite yet, but and then that's about all you can see. So it comes down, it bends west, runs about 60 feet, ends in a room, it seems.
So there's no actual door.
Nothing moving or anything. Correct.
Okay. So I'm going to sort of start moving forwards with the others behind me, sort of like staying in the light that Dolan's torch is casting. As I'm going, I'll be every now and again I'll be sort of like tapping the walls of my sword and the floor of my swords as we go, in case there's any hidden traps or anything like that.
Okay. I'm assuming the group is, roughly staying together.
Yes, I would have taken out both my swords and put my daggers back, though, and I'm going to stay very close to Fear Not and Dolan, and let Snowball stay close to Yamba.
Okay. So the only oddity you can see here really is that, again, in many spots, the ceiling has fractured or even been broken through by rock from above. I'm just going to screen share this. So you see a room, you come into a room not unlike the room you just left. You can see a little bit of furniture in here, probably a table leg. There is also on the eastern wall a symbol of Bashaba. Beyond that, you can see a hallway that ends in a set of bars.
Do the bars run from the floor to the ceiling?
Yes. Yes. But I'm picturing all you guys in that southern room right now.
Mm-hmm. So given that does it look as though like a person could like slip between those bars? Are they wide enough for
Well, I'm going to say it's about 30 feet away. You could maybe make that judgment better if you went closer to the bars. You're all in the room at the point.
I'll be slowly moving closer. I'll be slowly moving closer, keeping an eye out.
Okay, and what's everyone else doing? Are you guys waiting in this room? Are you doing anything?
Oh, I'll follow him.
I'm providing protection for Fear Not and Dolan while they proceed forward, and I would whisper something to Snowball, and I would say, something like, "Snowball, see if you find any runes or anything of religious importance in here."
She nods at the
At this point, from the front, I'll go, "You mean like that?" And I sort of point at like the symbol of Bashaba that's on the wall.
Denver would laugh and smile, and he would say, "Exactly like that."
And I suppose we're all just sort of moving forward. I mean, if I'm standing probably like right next to Dolan, who has the torch, so I'll be. I'll just be using my powers of perception, as best as I can, looking over things, trying to suss out as much information as I can with my senses.
Okay. Unless otherwise noted, the narrower hallways are single file, and the wider hallways you can be side by side. When you get to these bars, a couple things of note. On your side of the bars, there is a large lever on the wall, and it is in the up position. The bars have been, at least two of the bars have been bent wide enough to let someone to come through. Inside, on the other side of the bars, you can see a few little scraps of cloth and maybe a spot or two of blood.
it looks as though the trapped adventurers came this way. They must have bent the bars to get through.
That would make sense. Yes.
Where do I have to go? I mean,
Well, there is only one way out of it. They must have proceeded back the way we came.
Do you think it was some sort of trap? This rock collapse. Then, I mean, if these bars are here, it's possible that
it is possible. My concern is if they tried going this way and then they tried making their way through the flooded passage to get out, they may have fallen foul of the plant that is in there. If they did not, then the only other way they could have possibly gone is through the door back in the chamber.
Fair enough.
Lyndall, I would like you to make me an investigation check, please.
All right, give me a minute.
A whole minute?
well, it's a New York minute.
Rob, since I have the torch and I also am skilled at investigation, can I give him advantage?
Yeah.
All right.
Do the aid another thing, sure.
All right, so I guess I get advantage with that.
It's +2. We get. I think it's a +2 is how it works.
Oh, okay. All right. So, sorry, my for some reason there it is. Okay. So +2 with this investigation check will be.
Now this isn't to detect lies or anything like that. This is
right. This is just a regular investigation.
Putting together clues, right?
Yeah. That for me is going to be C +4 22 24.
Okay, so it looks like this was perhaps a trap, some sort of cage trap that, as best you can tell, due to age perhaps, brought down part of the ceiling with it. In other words, it seemed like maybe a cage was meant to drop here and instead collapsed the tunnel.
So I'll as I'm sort of peering at the details and looking, you see that you see Lyndall sort of retrace, like he almost starts to retrace the steps of the people that were there, and he's kind of sizing up the room, and then he says, yeah, "These rocks aren't meant to come down. This was just a simple cage trap, but the ceiling was unstable, brought it down with it."
While Lyndall's investigating this, I'll be sort of stood next to him with the shield that Snowball lent me ready, just in case there's like some part of this trap that hasn't been triggered yet, or like more rocks start coming down.
Well, you guys haven't gone into the other side of the bars yet, but fair enough. You are standing next to the lever. There's a lever in the north wall near the bars.
So it's on the other side of the bars where, like,
on the east side, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that I will be bold enough to try to pull that lever and see what happens.
All right, so it moves like maybe a half an inch, but it's like rusted or stuck in place.
Right. I also assume that like it's that those rocks are probably blocking a large part of the mechanism. So
that's a good assumption.
Yeah. So
do you wish me to give it a try?
It seems that. It seems that a big problem is that that cave-in is probably stopping whatever this mechanism is meant to do. So we would have to clear out the rocks, which would take a long time, which was probably very bad luck for them, because considering they probably could have gotten out of this trap rather easily if it wasn't for the cave-in. But they found a way out, it seems, if a painful one at that. Can we see into well past the other side of the bars?
Yeah. You can see right to the cave-in on the other side. As I said, there's bits of cloth and maybe a few spots of blood.
I'm going to crawl through the bars.
Yep.
The opening of the bars, and I'm going to just take a closer look, see if I can't find remains or otherwise.
So finding them stuff is going to be pretty easy, but I'll have you make me an investigation roll to interpret it.
All right. So an investigation roll of 14.
So the cloth is not ancient like the rest of this place seems to be, and the blood is recent, maybe a few days old.
Okay. The cloth. What kind of cloth is it?
Like maybe like from a traveler's cloak.
Okay. I look to my companions and I say, if anybody did die in this trap, they're well under the rubble. I can't see them, but they did get injured, obviously.
It looks like someone bent these bars to get out. I am guessing that someone bandaged themselves and then got out, perhaps looking for another way out. Perhaps.
Yes, that seems about right. From their descriptions that Gorvas gave us, Rob, do I think that that a human could fit through the gap in the bars? Okay.
Yes.
So he says, yeah, they had sounds like they had a sturdy warrior with them, so probably took a lot of effort, but they figured it out. I mean, these are old. This is an old structure anyway. But regardless, I'd say that this is a lesson that though the traps in this place might not be the most deadly, especially if they're trying to get worshippers in here. The structure is unstable, so be careful.
DM, I'm going to try and track. I just rolled a 23 on a survival check for tracking if who has departed that gate and which direction they went and what type of creature it is.
So I'll get a sense that you could maybe see like there's a very faint walking path in this hallway and in the path you came here, but nothing that's like individual or enough. There isn't enough dust, and there isn't enough isolation of any footsteps to single anything out. So you can, in other words, you can conclude that people walked in this hallway and walked down the other hallway. That's about it.
Okay, not a problem.
Rob, would it be fair, like where the collapse was, there would have been a bunch of debris and dust landed? Were there a number of footprints to dictate how many people they were? Perhaps small ones for a halfling, large ones for humans? Would he been able to test for that?
I think your assumptions are what happened here are probably on the right track. So yeah, there might be slightly more recent indications of footprints in here, but they would have been in kind of rubble and not like individualized and distinct or stepped on. But yeah, for the rest part, yes.
Yamba, we may have to proceed on. I think we found everything that we need to find here. Let us go deeper into the temple.
Indeed, if we assume that those who escaped this derelict trap did not meet a watery end in the flooded passage, then we must proceed back to the door that we encountered in the previous chamber and press on deeper into the temple, as you say.
Master, fear not. Do you agree?
Oh yes, surely. I think that I've got everything I need here. Let's proceed deeper in. Watch your steps.
I would like everybody to make me a perception check, and I just want to know who gets the highest.
I'll tell you, it's probably not going to be me.
22 for me.
This would be hearing that matters.
You two then.
13.
7. It's not me.
I got a 23.
I got a 3. So
Aaron then? Aaron then?
No,
Right.
no, Andre, because I got a 22 and he got a 23.
Sorry?
He got Andre got a 23, so.
What do your elf ears hear?
What do your elf ears hear, Denver?
You can. I'll be right back. Just going to the bathroom. You can relate that to him if you want.
Secrets.
Secrets and lies.
Someone farted in the other room.
Danver would Danver would raise his hand gently, probably enough that Yambagorn would notice or recognize the symbol for halting the party. And you would see him all of a sudden move quickly to the side and almost perhaps see one of his elven ears flicker a little bit. And then he looks back and he looks at Fear Not, and he looks at Snowball, and then he says, "I hear crying. Perhaps of a child or woman? I don't know. But I hear wailing."
Where?
I won't know until the DM comes back. But I hear
yeah,
it.
No sense of direction, really.
Okay. All right.
And
So
it was very faint.
all right.
Now that it's been brought to his attention, and Lyndall as he's kind himself to do, closes off other senses in order to heighten another. He sort of faintly picks it up too. He says, "Yes, that's not. That's not. That isn't a very promising bit of news. But let's proceed."
At least
Indeed.
if you're able to cry, you're still alive.
True. We waste time while someone suffers, and I just start like striding back towards the chamber with the door in it.
Sure. You're heading through that door?
Yep.
What I'm going to do before I head through the door, I'm going to listen at the door, see if I can like hear any sounds on the other side. If there's like a gap under the door, I'll peep under it.
Okay. There is no gap under the door. You hear no sounds either.
Okay. Does it have like a lock on it, or does it just look like a door that you'd be able to just? Like,
No. It's got an iron handle, sort of a horseshoe kind of shape, fitted right into solid stone. The door is solid stone.
The door's stone.
Yeah, the door is made of stone.
Do I notice any? I mean, if there's no gap in the door, if there's no gaps in the door, do I notice any sort of drag marks or like scuffs along the floor where the stone would be sort of dragged across the stone of the door?
Like from the door opening, you say?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I will say, yeah, there's going to be other doors in here, and you will occasionally notice that. But the doors are pretty well built that they don't. But if it helps you, the door opens into the room you're in.
Okay.
It's got a handle you just pull on.
I'm going to sort of put my hand on the handle, and then I'm going to sort of glance around at Lyndall and nod my head towards the handle, sort of waiting for him to give the nod.
I guess I'll give the door a quick perception check, if that's okay, or whatever you think would be best.
What are you looking for?
I am looking for yeah, I'm guessing I'm looking for apparent traps or
sure.
Mechanisms. Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be a 15.
You find nothing. It seems like a fairly simple but heavy and effective door.
Okay. I nod give the go ahead. Yeah.
As soon as I get the go ahead off Lyndall, my plan is to like heave the door open. Then as soon as I heave it open, I have my shield there in case anything rushes us out of the door.
Nothing rushes out. You see a short hallway about 20 feet long. It's about 6 feet wide, and it ends in 3 doors. And carved above each door in the stone is a word. Above the northern door, the word is wisdom. Above the eastern door, the word is guidance. And above the southern door, it says intelligence.
Well, seems that got a few options here. Tell me, to my more religious friends in this group, does Bashaba? Do you know if Bashaba particularly cherishes these qualities, or I would seem that as a trickery goddess, she would abhor at least guidance or wisdom. She's would that be a wrong assumption?
I'm sure guidance and wisdom has been twisted and perverted to fit into her particular dogma.
Indeed. Would myself or Snowball be able to make a religion roll, see if we have any ideas?
Absolutely. Yes. I wholeheartedly encourage this idea.
A mighty 19 for me.
16.
So with knowledge rolls, I tend to go on a sliding scale. The higher you roll, the more knowledge you learn. So you know that Bashaba is still an ongoing goddess. Generally, she's thought of as goddess of trickery or misfortune, bad luck. And people would generally tithe her or pray to her to avoid bad luck. In other words, if you don't give me some coin, bad luck will befall you. Oh, this bad thing happened to me. If only I'd given Bashaba money. At least that's the kind of thinking that her and her followers try to put out to the masses. Ignore me at your peril.
Do we know any, besides that, do we know if like any of these 3 words that have been mentioned are particularly valued sort of traits, I suppose, in Bashaba's religion?
I'm going to say no, but I am going to say that, like any god or goddess, they want you to know more about them. They want to boast about their ideals and ideologies. So it's likely that every one of these is connected with that goal in mind, right? Promote Bashaba and Bashaba's ways.
Okay, so I turn around to those after myself and like Snowball have related to that, and I say it seems to me that all deities offer guidance of a sort to their followers, although that guidance differs between the deities, but each of them wishes to guide their worshippers into worship of themselves and their doctrine. And I sort of take half a step towards the guidance labeled door.
Denver,
Sure.
do you have a better sense of where this crying is coming from?
I can roll investigation again if the DM allows.
So investigation would be for putting clues together. This wailing you heard it's hard to tell if you heard it orally or just in your head. The best sense you can get is deeper.
How would I guess Denver would say, we must continue on. We are not close to the cry that I'd heard. It was at some distance. We need to go deeper into this maze.
Well, before we open any door, let me offer the mother's guidance to the one who opens it. Would that be you, Amagorn?
If you wish, I will open one of these doors, and I will gratefully accept guidance from one of faith such as yourself.
See, goes up and blows on his forehead, and the rim frost forms, and he draws a little symbol in the rim frost and casts guidance on him. That will give you a D4 on any ability check. Once.
Okay, so as you've done that, I smile at you and nod gratefully, and then I'm going to say, it seems to me that Besheba, being a deity of misfortune, would seek to lead those who are not her worshippers into misfortune. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, knowing that offerings were often made to the gods, I'm going to take out one of my gold pieces. I'm going to shut my eyes and then just like randomly like fling it. So like turn it, sort of spin round and randomly fling it at one of the doors.
Interesting. And you're using some sort of like divine blessing, something to.
Well, no. What I'm doing is I'm actually going to do this twice because I'm assuming that being a goddess of misfortune, like the ones that we would first think to go through will be the bad ones. So I'm going to throw 2 gold pieces, see which doors they hit, and then go for the third one.
Okay.
I assume the deity would try and guide us into misfortune since we're like not her worshippers.
Oh, okay. Okay. So roll me. Actually, I'll roll it. Oh, you roll it. Roll me a d6 twice.
Okay,
I want the individual numbers, not the sum.
The first one is 6, and the second one is 2.
So one hits the north door and one hits the southern door.
Okay, so what was above the door that hasn't been hit?
To the north, it said wisdom. To the east, it said guidance. To the south, it says intelligence.
So the one that wasn't hit by a coin is the intelligence door. So I'm going to turn towards the door that says intelligence, and then I'm going to reach out for the handle or whatever is appropriate.
Yep. So again, as I said, all these doors are fairly similar. When you open the door, you see a hallway that goes about 50 feet, and there's actually a faint light in this room. And the light seems to be coming from the ceiling, and it's shining a little spotlight down on a pedestal, and there seems to be a tome open on this pedestal.
I look over, I sort of like step in a little bit again, sort of like tapping the walls, floors, etc. with my sword for traps. And then I'll sort of shout back over my shoulder what's in there, and I'll say, Master Dolan, there is some sort of ancient book or some such on a pedestal in here. Since this door is labelled intelligence, you are probably the best to figure out the secret it contains.
Dolan looks and then looks down the hall, and that's kind of a long ways. Maybe we want to open the other doors and see what's in those before I go walking down a dangerous, probably most likely trapped room.
Yeah. Can you see any exits from the room?
I peer in. Can I see any other exits from this room?
No, it's just a hallway that ends in a slightly larger room with this tome on a pedestal with. Oh, I'm sorry.
There is simply this antechamber at the end of the corridor that contains the pedestal and this old-looking book. I cannot make out any more details without moving further in.
If our objective is to find the missing Avengers / kidnap halflings or crying, the source of the crying, I'm guessing we need to find someone with an exit.
Well, how wide is the hall again, Rob?
These are single file.
Single file. Okay. Is that I say? Well, I mean, I consider myself rather intelligent, so I mean, I don't mind making my way down there. If Master Dolan is willing to cede the fact that I'm smarter than him, that's fine. But
shouldn't we wait for this later? I mean, if you have a crying child, we can.
We don't know
with all tomes later.
Well, let's actually. Master Dolan has a great idea. Let's open each door and see what lies ahead. Maybe there is one that goes deeper.
Very well, and I'll sort of step back out of this corridor, move over to like the other doors, and open them in turn.
Okay, so the door to the north, at the edge of your light, it ends. You can see a thick black curtain. It's hard to tell what's beyond that, but
Okay.
that's at the edge of your light. To the east, it ends in a fork. It goes about 30 feet and then forks to the southeast and northeast.
As I open the doors, I shout back over my shoulder, relating what I can see.
It seems that those two doors have the promise of going deeper into this. But let's not forget that these old temples and such have all kinds of strange mechanisms and doorways. That tome room might just as well be a door. That tome might just as well be a door as any other in this place.
Denver looks at Fear Not, and he squints carefully because he wants to speak to what Fear Not is saying, not to insult him, but he says, "Be wary of open books in closed temples."
This is fair. I don't have a problem with that. It's honestly.
My apologies, but if we are looking for ways that go deeper, it would seem that the more obvious, there may be a way deeper beyond that black curtain through the door there, or we take the forked passage ahead of us.
However, if the book does have any knowledge of this specific temple, that could be advantageous to us. Or if there is magic within, it may aid us. Or it may give us clues as to Bashaba's power and her purpose here in this place. Or could take us further down than simply going into the dark.
This is all true. I mean, my sense of this, and from what both Yamba and Snowball had to say about the religious nature of this place, my suspicion is that we might have no choice but to visit each of these directions anyway. We might have to learn as well as be guided and gain wisdom in order to get deeper within. But I say to be safe and just to try to help whatever this crying voice may be. I think that we should probably. My instinct is to go deeper and see if either the forked path or the curtain ahead. I'm feel is Rob, is the forked path under the guidance door or behind the guidance door?
I just put it in chat there.
Oh, sorry. Yes, so guidance. I say, forked path says guidance. My guess is that's going to be some sort of maze. So, what's everyone else feeling? We know what our options are. I'm rather leaning towards the east.
I would suggest that we move down the passage with the curtain in it first and establish if there is anything worth looking at beyond it. If there is not, we can easily return and take the forked path.
I suspect that every one of these corridors leads to the opposite of its principle on the door. We see a book to the north. Wisdom, the opposite of wisdom is foolishness. Perhaps that book holds nothing for us. Before us, to the east, the door says guidance, yet before us we see a fork in the road, a maze, the opposite of guidance. And to the south, intelligence, we see a curtain.
I think the book's to the south.
Oh, is it the book's to the south?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't see because there's like the map. I thought the book was in the long corridor to the north. Forgive me. So then I would just retcon that and say that the book is to the south, and it would appear that Books provide knowledge, but this would be the opposite of knowledge. Perhaps the book is just mere foolishness, trickery. A sharper's way is trickery. East is guidance, and now we have a fork in the road. So what kind of guidance is that? And then north is wisdom. What could be the opposite of wisdom but foolishness?
Or
Perhaps
ignorant.
it's the Dwarven manual on rescuing lost miners.
We could only hope. Either way, we're going to have to proceed somehow.
Okay, well, Yamagong, would you be a dear and go up and pull the curtain back then?
Of course. And I'll start walking down the passageway towards the curtain. I'll be obviously
Okay,
tapping the floor and the walls as I go along.
So you're going to get to this curtain, and you can pull it to the side, but you're also going to be at the edge of light. Okay, because I believe Dolan has the torch.
I'll whisper
Am I
back
right?
and I'll say, Dolan, would you bring the torch up slightly so I can see what's beyond the curtain?
Dolan looks around, almost like hoping someone else will take the torch and go down the hallway.
Oh, God, give me the goddamn torch.
He hands it over to Denver.
Denver just takes the torch and starts walking towards Yamagorn.
Okay, so the light reaches you, Yamagorn. You pull back the curtain. It looks like the hallway continues for a ways anyway, like at least until you kind of run out of light again.
And then I think both myself and Danver will start sort of like slowly moving forward with the advancing of the light. I'll have my again sort of tapping with my sword to shield out.
So you go about 10 feet further and you realize that it's just you hit a dead end, a wall, but it's painted to look like the hallway continues. It's a painted illusion. You also hear a loud click as the stone door you went in closes. The other three are in the intermediary hallway with the three doors.
God damn it!
As the stone doors coming down, I'm just going to turn around and shout, "Nothing yet!" And then I'll just be like, "Oh." And I'll sort of like turn around and look at the stone door.
I immediately get my thieves' tools out as soon as I see that the door behind the door that they just went into closes behind them. And I'm immediately like trying to get them out of there as
Rob,
best as
it's assumed that we're in pitch black now, right?
Yeah, I guess so. You gave him your torch. You're correct. Thank you.
Okay, so immediately I hold my hand up and a green flame appears. It only gives off like a tiny bit
Green
of
flame,
but at least I can see. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Lindo, you start looking around for some sort of locking mechanism or something like that. Meanwhile, if somebody else wants to do something, just speak up. On the other side of the door, Danver and Yamagorn, what are you two doing?
Denver looks up.
7 minutes in heaven? Or?
No, Denver looks up to see if there's another trap or something's going to fall upon them.
No,
whilst
just the same occasionally
that,
cracked ceiling.
Okay, I'm going to see if there's any way that I could effectively try and like lift this stone door that's fallen down.
No, but you now see what you didn't see before. Oddly, you see a little box on the wall, on the eastern wall near the door, and the box is it's made of iron. It's about maybe 8 inches long and 3 inches high and 3 inches in diameter, and it's got a slot cut in it like a coin slot.
I'll drop a handful of gold pieces into it.
As soon as you drop one coin in it, the door unlocks.
So does the stone door sort of rise back up, or?
Yep. Yeah, it like clicks.
the door that I've been working on unlocks.
Yep.
I imagine what happens is that I unroll the tools from their leather sort of pouch or whatever, and I immediately I take my little instruments, and it's like as soon as I touch it, the thing unlocks, and I look back.
Damn, I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. I look back at the others and say, "Well, I knew I was talented, but not that talented.
Quite impressive, I must say. You did that so efficiently.
Nah, well, no much secret.
As the door like rolls up and we see all them lots of like patting each other on the back, I'd just be like, there was a coin box there. I put a coin in it. The door lifted up.
If it matters to you, and it might, when you dropped a coin in, you heard it hit like a pile of other coins, kind of. It didn't seem like the box was empty.
That's fine. I'm not even going to even though this is like a horrible goddess of trickery, I'm not going to entertain the thoughts of like robbing a temple.
Okay.
Did you say there was coin in that room?
I said that I dropped a coin into a box, yes.
Okay, thanks.
That's an interesting trick.
It would appear that the Basheba's church values coin almost as much as our friend here, and I nod over in Dolan's direction.
But I think
So
it wasn't the coin, it was Master Lindell. He opened it. He used his thieves' tools and opened it for you. What a coincidence that you dropped a coin in there wasting it.
Indeed, what a coincidence.
Well, here's so is there nothing else then? Is that just a little trick to get people to pay money?
Indeed, there is a curtain at the end of the corridor. Beyond it, there is a cunningly painted frieze designed to convince whoever comes in here that the passageway continues. It does not. It is simply an optical illusion. When one enters and pulls the curtain back, the door drops, and the only way to get out is to make a tithe to the deity who owns this temple.
I feel bad for the poor sap that didn't bring his coins that day. Well, I suppose.
Does it feel like magic, Rob?
Are you asking me?
Mm-hmm.
Does it feel like magic? Does what feel like magic? I don't understand the question.
The connection between
the mechanism that
Yeah.
Oh, how would you know? I mean, how are you making that determination?
Well, I mean, I would offer. I'd say I can't imagine much of a physical mechanism that would be able to achieve that. There's probably some slight magic to do with it, or maybe there's just something that's very intricate that I don't know about.
So, shall we try the book now?
We should, or we could. Sure. It seems that if that's the kind of trap that they have here for those who venture to this temple, it's not meant to necessarily kill. As such, there was that cage trap in the beginning. That wasn't meant to kill those who came through, just to.
No, I believe these traps are meant to teach lessons rather than kill.
Exactly. So,
teach lessons to who?
Those who wish to seek the guidance of the goddess.
Indeed, think of them, Snowball, as trials one must pass through to prove oneself worthy of entering an inner sanctum, if you will, of the deity whose worship resides here.
Okay, well, if we're done, maybe we can move on to guidance then.
Let's. I'm actually now rather interested to see about intelligence. Again,
we do know that it will do the opposite of intelligence now, so be careful.
Yes, it'll teach us to be more intelligent, I suppose. So I'm okay proceeding through that door. If it might be smart to always leave somebody in this this intersection.
Yeah, on the map it's shown it as a door, but it's just a doorway. It's just a map error.
All right.
Well, if you insist, and she goes over and repeats the process, casting guidance on Lindell.
Okay, so I have a D4 on an ability check or a skill check. Was that?
Yep. Yes.
How long does that last for, by the way, Dennis?
A minute.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
I will go with Lindell. You can go slightly in front looking for traps, I guess.
Yeah.
Keep in mind there is light in this hallway at the end.
Okay.
I will snuff out my flame then if there's light.
Just coming down over the book like a cone.
Okay. So I'll proceed. I'll be very cautious with my steps. If you want, I can make perception checks or whatever. But I'm sort of carefully proceeding down the hallway towards the book, trying to avoid any kind of trap or tile. Like a loose tile or something like that.
I understand. The only oddity you see is occasionally the roof is fractured or pushed through from the rock above. Other than that, it seems fine. When you get to the book, you realize it's not actually a book, but a carving of a book. So the pages that are open, they do have writing chiseled into them, but there isn't pages. It's just, you know what I mean? Like a carving of a book right into the pedestal.
What's is it common? The language?
Yeah, but it's an old common, like ye old English kind of thing, okay?
Right.
So that's what it says. I just posted it in chat. Okay. And it's chiseled very exquisitely in flowery script.
All right. I take out my sort of my notepad that I have, and I scratch the words in there.
Sure.
Others will suffer to
learn. And it's a weird question, but how did you keep that dry when you went through the water?
It's tucked in a very private place. No. So I'm gonna look behind the pedestal, maybe around it, see if there's any mechanisms or such.
No. All you can tell is that the pedestal is bolted to the floor. It's not a part of the floor.
All right. Well, barring anything obvious, then, having gained intelligence from this tome, I guess I'll turn and proceed out. I mean, if there's nothing else here.
That's what you see. Yeah. All right. You guys are back in this little central room. There's a green flame burning. There's a torch that's been doused, I guess.
So I'm assuming
the green flame has been doused. The torch is still burning.
I'm assuming that Lindell's going to tell us what was written in the.
Right. I'll read it aloud. Say, sure. Fortune be to Bashaba. To ignore her is to dare misfortune. The road to guidance is fraught with calamity. The wizened will pass. All others will suffer to learn. Understand the lessons of her ways. Blessings await the worthy. Mishap awaits the fool. Fortune be to Bashaba. So, guidance. The road to guidance is fraught with calamity. So, that seems that is our way out of here, and it is going to be a bit of a bitch to get through. The wizened will pass.
What is this wizened?
Could mean several things. Those who are wise. So I don't know if that has to do with. But sometimes it's but most of the time it means those who are aged or particularly well aged. So I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. Others will... Please continue.
I was going to say it has been my experience that amongst humans and some of the other races. When they get to many years of age, they walk bent over using sticks and things of that nature to aid them. Perhaps this is a clue to some form of trap later on, as some lesson that may be learned.
That or we all have to get very wrinkly. Others will suffer to learn, understand the lessons of her ways. I feel like we've blessing the way. I say we'll just take that for what it is and proceed onwards. I suppose. I guess that we should proceed down the way of guidance.
Very well. So moving to the way of guidance, as we start heading down there, as we walk down there, I'm going to sort of like bend over a bit and sort of like dip my head down, because I'm thinking that this may be some clue to like perhaps some trap that might like slice your head off or something, since you mentioned it's like wizened people.
Okay, when you get to the fork in the road, on the eastern wall, the point there is a word carved on each wall. One word on the north wall, one word on the south wall. On the north wall, it says unsafe, and on the south wall, it says safe.
Well, yes. I mean, it says that the road to guidance is fraught with calamity. So I would assume then the unsafe path is where we want to go.
I agree.
All right then.
She's also a trickster god, is she not? Would it not be crazy to do a double switch?
I mean, I feel like with this entire venture that we find ourselves on, we could be, everything could be a bluff or a double bluff or a triple bluff.
Danver did make the point, though, that every one of these ways we've taken so far has had the opposite meaning to what was intended.
Well, intelligence wasn't necessarily... but that's true. That could be bad advice that was given in the intelligence. But to be fair, the Northern Passage did sort of teach you to be wise, not to just trust your senses and saying, "Well, that's a way forward." It was a trick.
In which case, I believe we should not trust the carvings, and therefore we should still take the unsafe path.
Still take the unsafe path. Well, either way, I say I agree with going to the south, to the north.
So the five of you are going to head to the Northern Passage, single file.
Yeah. I'm still keeping crouched down a bit as I move.
You have the lead, Yambagorn, and a torch. All right.
Yep.
You go about 20 feet, and the torch goes out.
Okay, did I get a feeling there was like an air coming from one particular side? Is it like a rush of air or something?
Nope, not at all.
As the torch goes out, I whisper back to the others, so like dropping the useless torch and like grabbing my sword. I'm like, I felt no air, there is some trickery here.
Well,
Rob, the torch, the light, did the light go out or the torch go out? Like, is there still a crackling sound?
Oh, good one. I'll say yes. There's still a crackling sound. It was the light that went out.
Nice.
Yamagorn, it sounds like the torch, as it hits the ground, sounds like it's still lit. There could be some sort of magical darkness here. Perhaps if we walk back out and see what happens?
I reach down sort of like very carefully to pick up the torch, and then we'll sort of like move backwards a bit, see if the light
it lights up again.
You are correct, Master Dolan. This would appear to be some sort of magical lessening of light.
What was that, Yamagorn? I didn't quite hear you.
He agreed.
This would appear to be some lessening of light.
Right, I was right. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that we all know that.
Yes, you are correct.
Don't worry, Dolan. I've been keeping score this entire adventure. At the end, we'll all be handing out awards. But Dolan, do you think you have any magical light available to you still?
I do not actually have the abilities to manipulate light sources in any way besides, and he holds his hand up and that greenish flame comes out, which is barely a candlelight worth, and this won't do anything.
Well, I say that we...
Snowball will go up and cast Sacred Flame and shoot it down the corridor.
Okay, so it goes down.
Radiance.
Right on. So it reaches the point where the torch went out, and the light from the Sacred Flame dims to half of what it normally would be. And then
I'm going to be following that with my low light vision.
Sure. Sure. And then you can see that the corridor bends slightly and turns east. Something like that.
Oh, okay.
The corridor bends eastwards, but once this flame has died, we would be proceeding in total darkness. Yeah. So it reached the point where the torch had dimmed, and then it turned to half brightness, and then poof.
Well, I say that we just move very carefully.
That light.
Yeah. We just I say everyone keep your left hand on the wall or some such if you have a free hand, and just move very slowly down the hall.
I sort of heft my shield, so like move. Well, the shield up in length, sort of like move it so it's just like one corner of it's like scraping the wall, and then holding my sword, I slowly start moving forwards. I'm going to see actually if, as I'm moving forward, I'm going to see if I can like send up any like sparks using my sword. See if they show in the darkness.
Sure. So again, they would be probably very fleeting, but other than that, the party is proceeding in darkness. Yes.
Yeah, and every like few seconds I'll be like, send up some sparks, so I'm getting like brief flashes with my low light vision.
Sure. So you guys proceed this way for a short ways, and Yamagorn in the lead. Remember, they're behind you, so they can't see what you see. You step into the light like it's actually lit in a section of corridor, and you almost step into a pit. Like where you come into the light, there's only about another 3 or 4 feet of hallway, and then there's a pit, and you can see that the pit is open, like it's an open pit.
I sort of step backwards and I hold my hand like behind me to not stop anyone behind me moving forward, and I say, "Be careful, there is a pit here." And then I sort of
there's a little bit of like
down into it.
Bump. Yeah, so it looks like it's about 15 feet deep with spikes on the bottom. It's about 15 feet across.
Maybe? Or any sign of anyone who's triggered it?
Nope.
Is there any like room where you could like edge around it effectively? Like, is there any like bit of floor you could like edge around it? So we'd have to jump it effectively.
How far is it across?
About 15 feet.
From one edge to the other edge?
That's what it looks like, yeah.
Are there any like loose rocks or any just like little bits of rubble or anything here?
I'd say you could find a bit, sure. I mean, because the ceiling's been poked through in places.
Okay, so I've got a couple of stones. First of all, I'm going to throw one onto the pit to make sure it's not like another illusion painting.
Okay, that's exactly what it is. It just kind of boom. The stones sort of stop on the surface. It's the painting of a pit and not an actual pit.
I'm going to say the pit is fake, and I start moving forwards. But I'll be like tapping ahead of me with my sword just in case of like put like a real pit after the fake pit.
Well,
right on. So
the safe passage then.
So you I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that, Snowball.
She said maybe this is the safe passage then.
You see like a brief look of disappointment across my face, and I just shrug and carry on moving forwards.
So as you cross this area, it's still a bit disconcerting because it looks like you're walking on air, kind of, over this pit. Like it's a very convincing illusion, but you get to the other side.
Okay, I carry on forward, still sort of like crouched down.
Sure. So it eventually bends, and then looks like that. So you guys have all emerged into the light. I'm assuming you're crossing this illusionary pit, if you want to comment on it or whatever, and then that's where you're at.
Okay, so I presume we make our way around this sort of like right-angled turn that's heading south, and we'll sort of see what's down that corridor.
Sure. If anybody wants to comment on what's going on, just feel free to jump in.
Yeah, if anyone wants to like haul me back or sort of like countermand anything I'm saying, feel free. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep pressing them.
I am actually. I step forward. Yeah, I'm going.
Yes, my friend.
As I step forward, I reach out and I hand, like, as if I'm going to hand him something. If he takes it, I drop 10 steel balls into his hand. Perhaps on our way forward, you can toss one of these every once in a while to kind of see if there's a drop or a pit or another covered thing or something.
That is an excellent idea, and I sort of heft these steel ball bearings in one hand, and I'll be doing that as we go in.
If you need more, let me know. I have more.
Thank you.
Absolutely, Andre. Anybody want to take a couple of minutes, get coffee or bathroom break or whatever?
Yeah, coffee would be great.
Yeah, let's do that.
Sure. Yep.
Well, see you in a bit, guys.
We got 2 ready to go, 3 ready to go. How you doing, Dennis?
I'm boiling in my own fat.
I hear that.
Yep, me too.
Sorry, I've got a nice hot cup of coffee here. That's just a thing to sort me out.
Yeah, I mean, I do the same.
Well, I've only got like one
Haven't hit
kind of
the
energy
hot
drink
ones.
left, and I'm saving that for the early morning game. We'll have to get my angsty dwarf
Right.
on.
Yeah, you got a Touareg stuff.
That's it.
What's the temperature in the UK?
Warm.
It's close to 30 degrees. Yeah.
More like 10 here. All right, I think we're ready to go.
10?
Yeah,
Fuck.
10 Celsius, 10, 11.
Fucking moving to Canada.
I think we're on
I
about
offered you
20.
many times. No worries, Andre.
Yeah, no need to be sorry, man. I wanted coffee
We
too.
all like caffeine.
So that's
Um,
86 in Fahrenheit. 30 degrees
Yeah.
Celsius. I can only do it with Google. I have no idea how to do it without Google.
Thanks, Google.
Multiply by
Just be
9/5
easy.
of that. 32.
If everyone used
Multiply by 1.8, add 32. Anyway, so this hallway ends in, it looks like a full-length mirror. Oddly, though, the mirror doesn't seem to be reflecting anything. In all other respects, it looks like a mirror should look. A good one.
Well, it's getting a ball bearing rolled at it.
But is it just a reflective surface, or does it have a frame too and everything?
It's got a frame. Yep.
Like I said, I'm rolling a ball bearing into it to see if the ball bearing carries on going, whether it actually bounces off.
7 years bad luck.
Oh, it goes right through. Just whoop.
And can we see it on the other side?
Nope.
So the mirror is reflecting the environment that we're in, but not us.
Nope, nothing. But it looks like it should. You know what I mean? Even a non-mirror that's a reflective surface is going to kind of reflect. This does not reflect anything.
Well, it is clear that things can pass through it. Witness the metal ball that I rolled through it. But we cannot see what lies on the other side.
No, she rolls out a
You
couple
can
of
see
feet.
that there's like a solid wall behind it, if that's what I mean.
No,
If that's what you mean.
somebody would roll out a couple of feet of the rope and throw it in, but pull it back to see if it gets eaten or anything.
Oh, that's a good question. It does not come back. The length that you toss that goes in does not come back.
But she retains the rest of the rope.
Yeah. You lose a foot or two, whatever.
Okay, she looks with a bit of shocked expression in her eyes and kind of shows Lyndall the stump of rope.
Looking at the end of the rope, does it look like it's been like cut by something, or how does it look like it's been like severed?
Huh. That's a good question. How do I describe this?
Would it be
You don't see.
disintegration?
I guess with a knife, you would see like
Like cut marks.
kind of damaging on the fray, like near the edge, right? That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you don't see that damage. It looks like it's just like it seems like a very natural end if that makes sense to you.
But it hasn't been seared either.
It doesn't look like it's been cut. No.
No, but does it look like it has been burned?
No.
Okay, so looking at where Snowball like threw the rope through, I'm assuming you sort of like threw it through at like the middle of this sort of thing,
Yeah.
and then just like pulled it back. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out my own rope, so go a bit closer, and I'm gonna try and sort of like putting it on the floor. I'm gonna like slide the end of the rope in and repeat the thing and pull it out sort of along the floor. See if it has the same.
So you're
effect.
kind of like poking an arrow halfway in and pulling it out again.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay,
But like I say,
so
I'm doing it at floor level.
right, sure. The mirror is oval and it's large to step through, but with the frame, I mean, it's about an inch off the floor, if that makes sense, right? It's got
Yeah,
the
so
mirror's
as
got a frame.
low as I
So
can get it, so it's literally just above the frame at
Fine.
the bottom.
I got it. So as much of the arrow as you stick in does not back out.
So whatever is affecting this is happening at all levels of this mirror, it seems. I'll say to the others.
Yamba, do you still have that piece of flesh, that tentacle?
I just sort of like hold it, lift it off my shoulder. Yes.
He's trying it so he can smoke it later.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. He was going to consume it later in some fashion.
It's got cigar written all over it.
See if it has the same impact on flesh. Oh, actually, no, that's not flesh. That's plant, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So see if it has the same effect on organic or life matter.
I'll sort of shove the very like tip of this vine through and then pull it back.
With the conceit that this thing is in no way currently alive, whatever you put in there doesn't come back.
All right. Looks like we will not be going this way.
Yep, I vote the other way.
But the other way just leads back the way we came.
I don't know where it leads. I haven't seen all the way down. There could be a passage on the the southern
right.
border.
Yeah, so if we take the southern portion of the fork, we haven't gone that way yet. That may take us to a different direction in the temple.
Yes.
Indeed, the writing on the carved book earlier did say that in order to achieve guidance, you must go through suffering, which we clearly have not done via the passage we took.
Oh, this is insufferable.
I'm also guessing if we step through this, we will suffer.
Let's just. I'm all for getting as much information as possible. So I say that we proceed south or southwest.
I'm gonna give you an option because I want to be completely honest with you. If we want to take a little bit of time, 10 minutes or so, I would be able to maybe detect if there's some sort of magical eminence from it. It looks like it's definitely magical, but it might help to know. We're looking for knowledge.
Are you able to determine a more specific sort of magical knowledge through this, or you can just tell us that's magical?
That's up to the DM.
But before we do that, I do have one additional idea. I'm going to take out one of my gold pieces, and I'm just going to like half put the gold piece like through the mirror, and then like pull the gold piece back, see whether it like puts through metal as well.
You'll give Dolan a heart attack for not using a copper piece.
Same thing. You now have half a gold piece.
Well, tell you what, if we find that there's nothing, if there's nothing to be found in the Southwest Passage, then we'll come back here and try to figure it out magically. But maybe there's a more practical method around.
Right, as you wish.
Let's be careful.
A little ways.
Yes, I think we're going back to the fork, and we're trying the southern fork.
Excellent. No problem. So when you get back there, you see roughly in the center of this east-west section, there is a blade trap, like an axe blade trap that would swing on a pendulum. And you can see a slot on the far wall where it would have, one slot where it comes out of the wall and another slot where it goes into. But where it's going into the wall, it got stopped by a skull. There's a skull that's kind of wedged the blade, preventing it from going into its kind of hidden socket on the northern wall. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So just
Skull
to be
is
clear,
almost cut in two.
Just to be clear, we're standing back at the entrance we would have taken.
I'm pitching you guys is around here.
Oh, okay.
And you would see that what I just said, the blade trap here, as opposed to you went this way.
And how many blades? Is it just one blade?
Yeah, it's like a big swinging axe blade that was hidden in the wall, but its last victim prevented it from going back into its hiding spot.
Okay. No obvious exits, obviously, in this hallway.
Perhaps there's a secret entrance.
Perhaps. Yeah. I'm gonna carefully approach the wall opposite the blade, so the southernmost wall.
Hang on, let know. Snowball calls out.
Yeah. All right.
If there is a secret entrance, it would make sense that the clergy would use that to bypass all this, right?
Yes, I would say so.
So it probably wouldn't be found here.
It's possible.
It's good logic.
It's good logic, but maybe this is a trick as well. Like maybe this isn't a functioning axe.
Well, since we're here, you may as well check.
Yes. I'm going to check the southernmost wall for secret doors.
You realize, Yambagon, he is the best detective in the world.
Yes, it's true.
That would mean something to me if I knew what a detective was.
Same here, but he keeps on saying that when he looks for things.
I am detectiving. Shh.
So you can make me a perception check, I guess.
All right. Okay, that will be 20.
It's a slot wide enough to house this pendulum axe blade, but that's about all you find. It looks like a very old mechanism.
All right.
Rob, if we're
at this point
leaning back, can I ask a question about the mirror for a second? You said it was on a frame. Is the frame attached to the wall? Does it have one of those stands where it's one of those large mirrors? So it's attached to the wall.
It's a full length mirror. Yeah, it's on a frame, but the frame is bolted to the wall and the floor.
Did
at
when
this
Jan
point,
went up to it, did he try to pull it from the wall as if it was like a fake door?
No.
It's a solid wall behind it.
Okay.
At this point, you guys now all hear that faint. It's very brief. It's kind of like a wail or a cry it's hard to even tell if it's human or animal.
Again, this is
seconds and then stops.
We all hear this.
You all hear it.
Do we have since it's that persistent and pervasive in the area? Do we know what direction it's coming from based upon us all hearing it?
It's not persistent. It lasts 2 seconds, but it is pervasive. And again, you get a sense of deeper and like literally down.
I look down on the floor.
Okay.
Is there anything
looks
there?
the same.
Like, it looks like there's just
Nope.
regular stone, and there's nothing that would imply that we can go deeper down into.
Correct. Yeah.
Lyndall, a thought
For all
occurs to
intents and purposes, this place may have been built on the surface.
A thought occurs to me,
Like
Lyndall.
there's
We
nothing really to
encountered-
suggest that it was intentionally. Anyway.
Yes, sir. Got it.
We encountered the fake pit earlier on. What if, as Master Dolan said, that is one of these double tricks, and it is actually a door leading down, disguised to look like a pit? Would that be something you would be able to ascertain with your detectoring?
We never gave it a good look, but it's certainly a possibility. Let's head back up that way.
You're going where now?
North to the big pit.
Okay, so to be clear, we have checked the wall behind the mirror.
Yes, from what I've heard, it's like it's just a solid wall.
Well, I don't think anyone actually investigated it.
Oh,
No.
but there's really no way to get to it because it's like there's a mirror bolted in front of the wall, so like on the wall.
You could probably reach a few fingers past it, or stick a stick past it, or kind of.
Well, let's go back
The mirror
then.
is oval. The mirror is oval. Is all I'm saying.
Well, I'll go check the pit. Somebody go check the wall behind the mirror. And,
Fair enough.
We'll come back. And
I'll save you time. Both are very solid.
Great. Both the pit
Looks
and
like
the wall.
the pit illusion is just an excellently painted illusion on the floor, on the stone floor,
The only
which is
thing that
otherwise unremarkable.
this might be a foolish suggestion, but the only thing I can think of as being deeper is the water. Is now.
When I say deeper, it's a vague directional sense. Okay, it's not like a pointing arrow like
down.
that.
I get it's not saying like go down, but it's just like, oh, we got to go deeper into this.
Well, it is the only place we can go deeper. So
that, or we just go into that mirror.
I would suggest first we give Master Dolan his 10 minutes to examine the mirror magically before we do anything else.
Agreed. Go for it.
So I believe with the tech magic, just going off the top of my head, you can discern magic and the school, right? Is that right?
You know what, though? As we get near the thing, Dolan stops, and then he looks down, and then he shakes his head. I need my spell books, and they're on the other side, in the entrance.
Let me do it then.
Do what?
Ask the goddess for what this is. She sits down and begins to meditate for 10 minutes. And then I will conjure detect magic and cast it as a ritual. And that's the first level spell, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a button. There we go.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. I'm reading you the spell here. For the duration, you sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you. If you sense magic in this way, you can use your action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic, and you learn its school of magic, if any.
How long
The spell
does that last?
It lasts for 10 minutes, concentration. It can penetrate most barriers, but is blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common material, blah, blah, blah.
In which case, Snowball, you may as well cast it and then just like walk along the paths we've taken looking for magic.
Yeah.
Until we get to the mirror.
Yes, but it will take me a while to gain the wisdom. So I need to meditate for a while. So you need to be quiet.
And then it's also an actual action to see the aura around anything. So where do you want to go walking first when you have these glowy eyes?
The glowy eyes. She will cast the spell at the mirror, so that will be the first.
Right. So the spell affects you, but then you can look at the mirror, okay? And you will see an aura if it's magical.
Yes.
The spell is okay, and the mirror is absolutely magical. The frame and holding part is not.
Okay. And school?
And the what?
The school?
The school. What school?
The School of Magic.
The darkness alteration.
Evocation.
Oh! It doesn't tell you. It doesn't tell you the School of Magic. I was going off the top of my head. I was thinking about another spell. Detect Magic does not give you that information.
Oh, so we have no way of knowing then. Okay. What kind of
You just
magic?
know for sure this is magical. Correct.
Okay.
Well, obviously.
Rob, is that a house rule or is that you going raw?
It's magic.
No, I'm reading the rule right out of the player's handbook.
No, it says, and you learn at School of Magic, if any.
Really? In my book, it does not say
At
that.
the end of the first paragraph.
Oh yeah, sorry, you're right. You are correct. I need a minute to make that determination. I know what it does. I just don't know offhand what school it falls into. Give me a moment, and I will have your answer for you.
It's the School of Trap Magic.
Is they come back and say, oh, it's the School of Slicey Death Magic.
Slice death magic.
That's it. That's
That's
the school
specialty
of
school.
your fucked magic. So I believe it's going to be something like transmutation. Yeah. Let me double check that.
Transmutes you from alive to dead.
Wait a minute. I could be steering you wrong. I'm getting conflicting information. So, could be conjuration. I'm trying to give you a definitive answer, but it's conjuration. Yeah, that's a more accurate answer.
Okay, so you'll relay that to our resident arcane expert because she can only. It doesn't really mean that much to her. But if the gossip says is the mother says is conjuration, I have been told it's conjuration. Don't know if that means anything to you.
Well, conjuration. What exactly would that mean, Dolan, as a for a conjuration spell?
Normally, conjuration is creation. Sometimes it can be movement, but in this case, I'm not quite sure. The effect versus what we're seeing seems different to me. But I don't honestly, I don't think sticking anything there is a good idea. It just seems, I mean, it's possible. Yeah, I mean, knowing, sadly, in this case, I am not the master of magic where I could actually fix this in any way.
A question, Master Dolan. If this thing is transporting what we throw through it somewhere, if we put the rope through, has it simply transported the half that is through elsewhere, and that is why we are pulling back?
Well, that is my concern, but as we saw, normal transportations, like when I misty step or something, my whole body moves, not just a part of it. I would hate to think that if I put even a portion of my arm into there, it doesn't take my whole body; it only takes my arm.
Is it possible that it would be the School of Conjuration if because whoever cast this mirror conjured whatever that effect is, conjured this this field of.
Yeah, the transportation is definitely an effect that can happen that way. My concern is if it's a trap or a trick, it's a good way to kill someone off. You'll never have any idea of how what happened to them. I mean, it's definitely not cut. It's definitely not burned. It's not acid. It's not a living creature that's there. It's literally something that's going to move you. There could be a mirror on the other side that you're stepping through. It's possible that that's what's cutting the rope. It is transporting half the rope to that and when you pull back on it, it's a one-way, so you can only go forward.
Even if it is some form of portal, it's not worth going one way. Let's say it is a portal. We'll never be able to come back here to this position. So we won't know where we are, so it's not the wisest direction to go.
Right, and if items that we're putting into it are, even if they are being transported, it doesn't seem safe that as soon as you put something in, it transports part, because then I take a step in and all of a sudden my leg is halfway across the world and, well, I'm dead. So
exactly, that's my concern.
To be fair, the difference wasn't noticed until you pulled it back out.
So what we're saying is if we stop any form of forward progress while we're going through this thing, it will cut us in half. It is not safe. We will not know where it will take us, and if we want to come back, we can't. Because that would be impeding forward progress.
It's possible.
Whilst they're having this discussion, Rob, you said that you could get your fingers behind the mirror, or possibly poke a stick or something behind the mirror.
Yes. Yeah,
I'm effectively
you can tell. Sure. So you can tell that the wall behind it is solid, and everything else.
Okay, I'm effectively with my sword going to sort of poke my sword down the back of it to see if there's any levers or anything behind the mirror, or if there's anything attached to the back of the mirror.
It sounds like you're hitting glass on the other side, like tink, 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 tink.
Looking at the bolts, do I think if I put all my strength, I'll be able to lever this thing off the wall?
You could probably force it off the wall, yeah, with some work. Yeah, effort.
So I look back over at you guys. I said, I believe if we needed to, I could force this mirror free from its moorings.
Yeah, but it might damage it, and it does sound like it's just glass. I would rather not damage it if we need it at this point, Yamagorn. And to answer Denver's statement, it's possible that it works both ways, but it's only one. You can't stop halfway through, so there could be a mirror on the other side that we can walk through and come here.
But is it fair to say, Master Dolan, that if we are correct and it is a portal, the only way we're going to verify that is if one of us risks our lives to go through?
I would have to say that you would have to be faithful in what you're doing and step through it.
You bring a great point.
I start going through my little very privately placed notebook, and I'm just going over the message again, because it seems that if there is any the only other clues that we have are in this text. So so I'm just going to read it again. Fortune be to Bashaba. To ignore her is to dare misfortune. The road to guidance is fraught with calamity. The wizened will pass. Others will suffer to learn. Understand the lessons of her ways. Blessings await the worthy. Mishaps. Okay.
Master.
Is this while he's reading that, we hear Leroy Jenkins, and we see the outcome spring.
Yeah.
All right, so Danver, while he's reading, Danver just walks through the portal without anybody even expecting him to, and right before he goes through the portal, he says, "Damn it all."
No,
as soon as he goes through, I'm just throwing our Dragonborn friend shield back to her, and I leap through after him.
I can't hear you, Rob.
You're muted, Rob.
You're muted.
Sorry, I'm not going to say yet what Denver and Yamagorn see, but the other three, you see them vanish completely.
So after inhaling and covering my mouth, I look over, and then I kind of point, and I just randomly point kind of down or over, and I'm sending messages to Denver. Are you okay? Are you okay? I'll just keep doing that till I pick him off. Hopefully he's within 100 feet.
Is message allowed two-way conversation?
It absolutely does. He can respond or not.
Okay.
He's been choosing not to, but he could.
Well, what?
And they know that.
But does it have a range?
Yeah, it's 120 feet. So as long as they're within 120 feet.
Look on the bright side,
Yep,
Dennis.
so-
At least I die after you use your shield back.
Yeah.
So I will, for now, I will say that Denver responds that he's fine, and Yamagorn is also fine.
So I look at my two companions. They're letting me know that Denver at least is okay. I guess all for one and one for all.
After you.
Great. So a half-naked Dolan runs up and jumps through the portal.
All right, and then I turn to Snowball and I say, "Well, that was fun. Let's go get a drink."
Smash.
Yeah. Then we go off on our own adventure. Well, if this is the end, it was nice knowing you. And I step through quickly.
Okay. Do you want to do or say anything before you enter the snowball, or not enter? It's your call.
No, she will just. She'll pick up
Sigh?
anything if they left anything behind. She'll pick that up and go through the mirror.
Sure. So you guys all end up in a room that's about 20 by 20, and has 8 mirrors in it that are arranged in an octagonal pattern, as you can see. All of the mirrors seem to reflect normally. They are all in holders. They're all full length.
Assuming that.
Also the little bits of arrow and vine and rope. That's all that's in here.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, and I'm assuming that there's just bits of junk on the floor.
Rob, which one did we step through?
You don't know. You appeared. I guess you appeared out of to your best guess, the northern mirror.
It would be the mirror where all the debris is at the foot of it, right?
Right, but it's more or less in the center of the room. Like when you come out, you're just about in the center of the room. If I was to make any guess, I would say it's the northern mirror. You don't appear like right on the other side. Exactly.
I see.
You're more in the center of the room, but yeah.
Well,
I'll look over
So
at
it's a little
Snowball.
bit crowded, probably in there.
Any chance I can borrow that shield again, Snowball?
Absolutely. She hands him the shield.
Looking around, I say, "Well, if I knew that we were going to be in a temple full of mirrors, I would have done some crunches before coming in here." But
I, for one, am not worried because you will be able to detective.
I will detective the shit out of these mirrors, and
There is shit in the mirrors.
there could be. You never know. I look around. What is there any sort of markings on these mirrors?
None.
Are they all?
They all seem to be in holders. When you examine one closely, you realize that the angle of the mirror can be changed, like at least one direction. Like it can go forward. You know what I mean? Like tilt forward or tilt backward. Does not pivot side to side.
Are these floor length? Like are these like full like ceiling to floor mirrors, or are they circular? What's the?
They're oval, and
oval.
the holder is such that if you wanted to, you could flip the mirror completely over.
Could the mirror be
Like you
tilted
could
to
do
its
180
facing
degrees,
downwards?
is what I mean.
So you could basically flip 180 degrees to like the back side of the mirror. Is that the idea?
Yeah, down, up, or up, down. Yeah.
Okay, I would actually like to just go through and start seeing the backside of all these mirrors.
Okay,
Well,
so the backside of the. Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
No, while he's doing that, Snowball will go around the room looking for, our debris, but also if there's other debris, as the other Avengers came by and was trying to do the same thing. So if there's any like small daggers or whatever they might have thrown through.
Okay.
Also, if she finds the half gold coin, she'll pick it up and give it to Yabagorn.
Okay. Yeah, all that stuff is there. You can make me a perception check for the rest. Lindo, you notice that when you flip one of these mirrors over, that the other side of the mirror looks very much like the mirror you entered to get here. It looks just like a mirror, but it reflects nothing. So only one side of this mirror is reflective.
22 on the perception.
I didn't hear the number, I'm sorry.
22.
So you notice a very faint, geez, I don't know what the word is in English. It's an exocircumflex in French. It's like a greater than sign if you rotate it pointing up. That helps you.
Okay. Yeah.
And that there's a very faint one scratched into the floor below the north mirror.
I haven't seen this yet, so.
No, but you have seen what one side of at least one of these mirrors is non-reflective.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna. I'm doing this to all the mirrors, so.
Yeah, they're all that way. You could
They're all
flip,
that way.
so the mirrors could each be turned reflective side in or reflective side out.
Okay.
There's faint carving here, Lindo.
I go over and I see the little the carrot.
Must be a drawn rune or something, but I don't read drawn.
And it's pointing towards the northern mirror. Well, it's possible that is for our bearings. I mean, I suppose that it would be easy to be disorientated in this room if you were stuck in here for too long. So it's possible that means that that's north. Or it could mean that's where we have to go. I did find, everyone, that the backs of all these mirrors are all the same as the mirror that we came through. Sort of a non-reflective glass of some sort, or some kind of... I hesitate to say portal.
When we came in the room, they were all facing shiny side towards us. Is that what I'm guessing?
Yes. Yeah. I don't know if he's flipped any, but he's noticed at least that every mirror has a reflective and a non-reflective side. But they're all reflecting normally when you came in.
Well, forgive me for saying this. I hope I am detectiving right. But if we flip all of the reflective surfaces towards the wall and only use one of the mirrors with the reflective surface facing us, if we go in that mirror and come back in, we'll know that we have taken that path. And then we can flip the mirrors and take every path and work our way through the temple.
Yeah,
is that detecting right?
Sure. I think that I mean, if we assume that flipping them that way is going to deactivate them, I suppose. There's no other indication as to where to go. So yeah, I say that we turn this this northernmost mirror to its reflective side, to its non-reflective side, and
Okay.
Is that the one with the scratch?
correct. Yes, the one that's
There's a scratch on the floor in front of it, to be clear. Yeah.
and it's but the scratch is like a half arrow like pointing towards it. Correct.
Yes.
Right. So, and I guess with the others, I mean, I suppose it couldn't hurt to like, as Danvers suggested, like just flip them up. I mean, when I look up in this room, what do I see? Is it just a stone ceiling?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Right. What I am suggesting is we flip all of them up except for the one that we are going to use.
Right.
And then we know that the mark on the floor here suggests, all right, we will call this, for all intensive purposes, the northern portion of the room where this arrow is. So if that is the case, we work our way around and go through every mirror and go through the temple.
Yes, I think that that's a fair plan. All right, so I guess we just all do that. We all should just go through the.
But what would be the purpose of this?
It's possible that this is it's a sort of maze of its own.
Could also be a transport junction.
Could be.
Going to multiple places.
These all could go to multiple places, yes. And if we go through here and it just takes us back to where we came from, then we'll know that that's the case. And then we'll know to just try different directions, and we'll know how to get back.
So you're flipping all the mirrors to their non-reflective side except for the northern one.
No.
Is that right?
The northeastern one.
Okay.
We'll say that this is like a compass, right? The northern one is the one that we suspect we came from, right?
Yes.
So we're gonna flip the northern one so that it is no longer reflecting.
Okay.
And then the one that we're going to keep reflecting will be the northeast, and then the remainder of the mirrors will flip as well, so that we only have one way into this room, and when we come back into this room, we won't be lost.
Okay. And then you're going to try and step through the one that's reflecting you. Is that right?
The only one that's available to walk through.
But how do they pivot?
They're on a stand, so like it flips forward, like the top rotates down or down rotates up as you wish.
And then connected by screws in the middle?
Yeah, there's like a
on the side. Yep.
Yeah.
On the side.
Yeah, on the side.
How used do they feel? I mean,
how
like
used do they feel?
Well, if they've been here for 1,000 years, they would be kind of, the oil will have dried up, right?
I never said 1,000 years. That's a fair point.
Okay.
So can you get an idea of how? I mean, have they been flipped regularly for like once a week for many years, or is it like almost mint condition?
No. All right. I have a safer way of doing this, if you will allow me, sir.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Instead of I just had a thought that what if we go through one passage and then we have to enter into another mirror, but we flip them and then we just walk into a wall? That would not be safe. All we should do is before we go into one of the mirrors that we all select is the mirror that we're going to go into, we mark the floor as that is the mirror that we are using.
Can I make a suggestion?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask you this, Rob, before I make the suggestion to everyone else. Is it possible to tilt the mirrors so they're sort of pointing downwards, the reflective sides pointing downwards?
Yep.
If this, and I'll sort of like demonstrate this by sort of like moving one of the mirrors a little bit. If the sound we've been hearing is coming from deeper, perhaps if we tilt one of the mirrors downwards, if their orientation affects where their destination comes at, perhaps if we tilt the one we choose to step through downwards and then step through it, we will move deeper into this place.
Well, I don't. Again, I'm not sure. Deeper can be taken many ways. I mean, if you're going further into a place, you could be said to be going deeper. So it could just be a matter of just proceeding through. I don't know if we necessarily need to go down.
Indeed, but if we tilt the mirror downwards and it has no effect, then we have lost nothing. But if it does have an effect, we will have gained something.
Yes, unless the mirror, unless we come out of the reflective side of the mirror, in which case then we might cause a bit of a collision. But I say that at this point we know very little, so experimentation is welcomed.
I've heard a bunch of different plans. Just let me know which one you're doing.
Yeah, Master Danver, you seem to have the. I'm going to give you the lead on this one.
Does anyone have chalk or anything to write with?
I do. I produce it from my very secret place.
If not, you could certainly scratch the floor.
All right. Well,
I also have chalk. It's silly to go into a dungeon without any equipment, guys.
All right. So Danver will take the chalk from from Lyndall, and he will mark the floor in front of the northeast mirror. Look back at everyone and say, "I will now go through the northeast mirror. That is where the mark is on the floor. Wish me luck." He says,
I'm sorry, you finish.
"Oh no!" He just says, he looks back at them and he says, "Wish me luck," and you can say what you got to say, and then he'll walk through.
So at this point, all the mirrors are turned to their non-reflective side, except the one you're trying to walk through.
No, we had decided against that because we don't know if we're going to have to go into another mirror at another point of the location once we go through, and that will take us back to this room again. So what we're doing.
What I need to know is the mirror you're walking through. What side of it are you walking through?
All right, so the reflective side is facing all of the mirrors have their reflective sides intact and facing the center of the room. I am walking through if you look at the mirrors and pretend they're a compass, I am walking through the northeast mirror.
Okay, with all mirrors showing reflecting sides.
That's correct.
But here's my. I thought that on the non-reflective side was similar to what we walked into when we came into this room, correct?
That's correct.
Right.
That's
so
correct.
So we need to flip the northeast mirror to the non-reflective side.
Oh, I see. I misunderstood that. Okay. So if that is the case, then they all should be that way. Is that correct?
Yes, very much.
Yes. So then they all have
when
to
you
be
entered this room, they were all facing in, right? The reflective sides are all
they were all just mirrors. They were all just like regular mirrors. Yeah.
Right.
So we're flipping them all non-reflective then. Okay. So everything.
So now they're all non-reflective.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
And now Denver walks
Denver
in.
going through the east mirror. Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. So you vanish.
Talk to me, Dolan. Talk to me, Dolan.
Yeah, I mean, I
he
guess
has to initiate, I believe.
I will be, are you okay? And I randomly point in directions until I get a response. Hopefully you respond.
Yes. Denver tells you he looks in a room. He's in a room that looks identical, more or less, to the room he just left, except for the fact that you guys and that stuff isn't in it. And in the room you entered to, Denver, all the mirrors have the reflective side facing in.
Yep, got out.
It appears that he is okay. He says he's in a room similar to this one. I guess with that, I will actually reach down and with my chalk write first on this one, and then go through the portal.
I follow him through.
Is everyone following, or is anyone staying in this room?
I suppose we should all just follow.
Yep.
Okay, so you all wind up in a room structurally identical to this one, but you can see by faint changes in the discolorations of like in the floor and the walls, it's not the same room.
All right. I'm assuming there's no chalk mark on the floor.
Correct.
All right, but is there a scratch pointing presumably north?
Nope.
There is not. Okay.
Nope.
Denver, which mirror did you see us enter from?
This is the same situation, DM, that when I entered into I entered directly in the center of the room, and I don't know.
Yeah, your best guess is that you came out of the southwestern mirror.
Okay, now the question is what mirror did I see them come out of?
The same one. Well, as best you can tell, people tend to appear in the center of the room, but as you move through the mirror, the kind of perception you get is that that's the mirror you came out of. But other than that, everyone appears in the center of the room. They don't appear in front of any mirror.
I suggest we try stepping back through the southwest mirror and see if it takes us back to the previous chamber.
Agreed.
All right.
I perhaps I'll step through since I have the ability to communicate.
Okay.
I will step through the portal.
So wait a minute. You guys try and walk through the southwest mirror?
Yeah, if all the mirrors are facing
well,
dark side in.
Well, right now they're all reflective. They're all reflective. So we need to. So I'm gonna do a check. Are all of the? Do they all have the same non-reflective side on the back?
They do. They do.
All right. So do we want to move them all to the non-reflective side, or just the one that Dolan's going to be using?
I say all of them once again.
All right. So
we'll keep the same pattern.
Yeah, all non-reflective, and then we'll let Dolan move to the southwest.
Just a thought, before Dolan moves through the reflective mirror, I'm just going to try and sort of like, almost as we're flipping one of the others over, just like drop one of the ball bearings onto the non-reflective side, just to make sure we can't pass through the non-reflective side as well.
On the mirror you're about to enter?
No, just on one of the other mirrors. Just like flip it over so the non-reflective side show, and then I'll drop a ball bearing onto the non-reflective
when
side.
you drop them into the non-reflective side, they disappear.
There you are. We can apparently pass through the non-reflective side as well.
Well, that's what we've been doing. I think there's some confusion. Every mirror that we've passed through so far has been through a non-reflective side. It's what we need. So I guess we would do the same test to see if the reflective sides have passage. We haven't tried that yet.
Yeah. One bit of information I forgot to tell you, is when Danver first passed through that mirror, it immediately flipped back to the reflective side. So each of you would have had to flip it in order to use it.
Interesting. Okay. So it's possible that the reflective sides are just exits, but I think we could still do the same test on the reflective sides by putting a. Actually,
the reflective sides. It seems like a normal mirror.
Just a normal mirror, nothing passes through.
Right.
All right. So the reflective sides seem to just be exits. So Dolan, do you want to try this southwest passage now?
Oh, well, now that we're thinking that those are exits, that means I'm going to exit into the wall.
No, because every time that we've walked through one of these mirrors, it has flipped to the reflective side, meaning that when the last of us walked through that mirror to the northeast, it's now on its reflective side, ready to bring somebody back in.
Dolan shrugs and steps through the portal. And then if I'm still alive, I will begin sending messages saying I'm alive.
Okay, so I'm clear on this. You're going first through the southwest mirror of
southwest
this new room.
Yeah.
Right on. So you vanish. You send the message that you're okay. However, you are not in the first room. You're in another one of these rooms.
Okay. So southwest. I send the message out to Lindell, and I tell him, it appears that I'm in a different room.
I marked down with chalk. I marked down in front of the one that Dolan just used. I write a 2 in front of it, and
okay.
I say to the others, I say he's in. So we're in. Sorry, who did you send that message to, Dolan?
To you, Linda.
Okay, I say so. He made through, but he's in a different room. He's not in the one that we started in. Now, do we want to all stay together, or should we all just try to follow him to that room? Because so far we know that this mirror should take us to him. Or
can you ask him if there are other mirrors there? I mean, can you go further from that point?
I ask, is it another mirror room?
He said it's identical to the others.
Identical, yeah. So it's identical to the others. My assumption is, and this is just an assumption, that it's probably the same. It's probably another travel room.
So a travel room that leads to a travel room that might lead to a third travel room. I mean, we could be doing this.
Well, the one thing that we haven't tried yet, and maybe the way that we get back through the mirror that we just used, the way that we get back to the first room is if we use the northeast mirror in this room. It's possible, but what we need to determine right now is before we experiment, do we all want to be together, or maybe we can have. Well, actually, this message the message spell only really works instantaneously, correct?
It's a back and forth. I haven't messaged anything back because I think Dolan's smart enough to wait, and then he'll send it in a couple. And while he's waiting, he's going to write third on this floor.
But it's a cantrip, so you can just kind of reach out whenever.
I can do it all the time. Yeah, I can constantly. Do it.
Right. So, but right now, the connection between you and I is sort of severed. Correct.
It's severed. Yeah, it's my to you, and then you respond.
All right. So I say. So we're gonna have to go. We're gonna be going deeper in, but I'm assuming that we're gonna all have to go in there together.
Should I try the northeast mirror?
All right. Okay. So I get that message from you, and I say. So that means that you took the southwest and the northeast. I asked the others, should we have him experiment or should we join him?
No, we should stay together.
All right, so let's all take those. I say...
Shouldn't we check that he can come back first?
Well,
and shouldn't we check that we can come back first?
No, because if he tries going through the mirror and ends up in a different room, we will be separated.
Then we're two rooms between each other. So I say I tell Dolan to wait for us, and then I think that we should all go through the southwest mirror.
But what if we can't get back and we're stuck in some mirror thing?
I was going to suggest perhaps if we break one of these mirrors before we go into the other room.
Well, if we break a mirror, then that's breaking a mirror definitely closes off a way through. It means that you can't take the. It means that you can't use that mirror. You can't use that reflective surface to come through. So that's going to trap ourselves.
Right.
Are you trying to say to me that we might not be able to enter another identical chamber like this? I will not shed any tears for that.
The possibilities are endless here. We have to cut a path through these rooms that we cannot repeat. So if we all enter through mirrors and then break them as we go through them, eventually we will find the true path. It's obviously a maze.
Yes, it's a maze. But I say before we break anything and possibly really get us stuck, I say that let's all get together first. And
yes,
then,
agreed, yes.
So I say that, I mean, without any objections, Lyndall is going to flip the mirror back to its non-reflective surface to the southwest, and he's going to take the same mirror that Dolan took.
You appear with Dolan.
Okay.
And then Snowball goes in.
I step towards the same mirror, flipping it back over, and I just pause and look back at Danver and say, "This is foolishness," and then just step through the mirror.
The same one that they went through?
Yep.
Yeah, so you appear with them. Is everyone going that way?
Yes, but before I go through, I will take the chalk and mark in front of that mirror, and then I will go through.
All right.
Sure.
So everyone's there. But
yeah, you go ahead.
Just when everyone arrives, I'll be like, I'm really starting to believe that, as Denver has said, this is some sort of a compass and directional movement. It doesn't matter which room we go in; each mirror goes to the same room. Hence, why I wanted to try the northeast mirror.
Yes, I would think. I believe that the northeast mirror might take us back to the beginning.
I was actually thinking it would take us to the second room. I don't think it matters which every mirror goes to the same room.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. So perhaps the northernmost mirror would take us back to the first room.
Possibly.
Is what you're saying.
That makes sense to me. It would be in the lineup, yeah.
All right, so.
But if we go to the northeast, we'll at least know definitely.
Yeah, we have markings in the second room. So.
Do you want me to go, or
I'm okay with it as long as everyone else is.
anyone else?
I just want to understand you're going to the northeast of the room that we're currently in with hopes that it will take you back to the first room's position. Is that correct?
It'll take me to the second one.
One.
In my mind, I'm believing that all the mirrors lead to each room regardless of where you are positioned.
Okay. All right. So, yes, Denver, wait to see what happens.
I sent you a message there.
I'm sorry. I didn't. Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me what you guys are doing again. You go ahead and tell them if you want.
So, well, what we're thinking is going to the northeast mirror. But before I do that, I stop and then almost absentmindedly, as if I was forgetting something, I stop and go, and there's a mark to the north, and it appears that there's another one to the south. Perhaps they were marking their mirrors as well when they were passing through them.
I'm going to take a look at these markings. So these markings, do they look crude, like, or are they carved as part of the masonry?
So they look like they've been scratched into the masonry, and there's like a faint arrow pointing to the north mirror and a faint arrow pointing to the south mirror.
So yes, I would agree, Dolan. It seems that these markings are actually based on probably what our predecessors took. Does that change what your strategy, or do you think we should continue on with?
I think unless the magic is randomly messing us up, which I don't think it is, I still think going to the northeast to confirm the directional basis, and then from there we can just come up with a different strategy if that's not the case.
All right. So to the northeast then.
Okay, Rob.
So you're heading back, presumably the way you came. Is that right?
I'm heading into the northeast portal, hoping to reach that second room that we entered.
That's exactly what happened. You re-enter the second room that you were, and again, all the mirrors are now facing inward.
So I look over at in the direction that I know my friends are, and you hear Lindell. You hear Eureka.
Yeah. All right. So I say, the young conjurer was right, and I step through the mirror.
Okay, so you reappear back in this second room you were in.
Is everyone just going to follow suit? I'm guessing while we deal with the maze.
Yeah.
Sure.
All
right.
So from this point, I recommend going south if it comes down to it, Linda.
Can I ask something real quick?
Yeah.
Rob? All right. I'm going to share my screen real quick, and I believe that this is the methodology that was followed. We came into room 1 from the north, then we went northeast to room 2, and then we went back in the same mirror in the southeast, and then we ended up in room 3. And then we're going northeast in room 3, and then for some reason we're ending up back in room 2. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. That's all.
Yep.
All right.
All right. So,
that's okay.
So
not quite right, but that's okay.
It's not right. I need to know because that's what I documented.
In the third room, you took the northeast route, not the northwest route.
The third room.
In the third room. Oh wait, 1 second, because if that is the case, that's where my arrow is, and I want to make sure that we got this right because that's why I'm confused.
In the first room, you went out the northeast mirror, came out in the second room. In the third room, you went out the northeast mirror and came out in the second room.
Mm-hmm. Third room, we did not take the northeast.
That's right.
The third room, we took the southwest.
Also, the first room you're in had a marking in front of the north mirror, and the third room you're in had a marking in front of the north and south mirror.
Right, that's what I have here. But I mean, basically, it went 1 and then 2.
A northwest mirror was never used.
A north.
You haven't gone.
No.
Well, no, I
do
understand
that
that.
one.
I'm not saying that one is, but what I'm saying is, if we just exclude this from the equation, and we forget about room 3, we went down. We came from the north, then we went up to room 2, and then he went back this direction, which took him to room 3.
Yes.
And then when we were in room 3, he went back up the northeast direction like this, and then he ended up in room 2. So that doesn't even explain anything to me. That's just a complete.
So what?
Each mirror corresponds to a room.
Exactly. Each room is each mirror. Each room. So basically, it doesn't. The northeast mirror will always lead to room 2.
Okay.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily matter what mirror you come out of.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got it now.
All right. I was doing the same thing. I was thinking directionally the portal would jump to the same direction when I first.
Right.
But now I have arrows all over the fucking place.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
All right. Makes sense now. Thanks,
You guys were so close. Anyway, carry on.
Okay. So we know that the northeast mirror is always going to lead to this room, at least for now. We know that. So
I recommend south because that's where the arrow was pointing in not only this room but the third room.
Okay. So, but is there an arrow pointing to the south in this room?
No.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought. There's no scratchings in this.
Yeah,
room.
we didn't see anything on the floor of this room.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Except for what
I'm sorry. I was thinking they totally didn't go this way. They went south. Yeah.
Oh, who did we lose?
We lost the DM.
We lost the DM.
Okay.
I said that let's just keep exploring.
Yeah, we'll just keep exploring. I'm gonna take the east.
You there, Rob? I see your icon, Rob.
Do you know how long we continue today?
I think probably for another
An hour.
Yeah, an hour, maybe a little less. So my assumption then is that because now we know that the scratchings were made by the previous adventurers, that the first mirror they tried was the northern mirror. So we don't necessarily know where that northern mirror leads. We just know that that's the first one they tried. Then they tried the southern mirror, it seems, or
or when they went to the north one. Like, I don't think the north one goes back to the original portal mirror. I think the north one goes to a different room. And from that room, they went south, trying to go back, just like we were. And that brought them to room 3. And then from room 3, they went south. That's my thoughts. And I mean, I am the most intelligent person here. My character is, anyways.
Oh, I think in game and out of game, So, all right, Rob. So, we haven't really determined a room to take yet. Dolan, you seem to have taken point on this. Should we just go clockwise then, or?
I was thinking we can test south because that's where they went.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, we're going to assume that we're going to follow the arrows that exist, and then from there see what happened to the previous adventurers.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so you get into the third room you entered, and where there's an arrow to the north and the south.
Oh,
I
was going to do it from the second room. We haven't gone back yet.
Right. In the second room, there are no arrows scratched into the floor.
Right, but if our assumption's correct on the rooms, going south in this room will be the same as going south in the other one. If not, we can always go back.
Okay. Okay. So you go back to room 2, and then you
Oh.
go south from room 2. Yes?
Yes.
Correct.
And so you wind up in, now we'll call this room 4.
Yeah, I'll write on the
It's a
floor.
different room.
I'm gonna search around, investigate to see if I can see any scratches or anything on the floor or anything.
Nope.
Nothing.
No.
Okay.
Nope.
I will step into the northeast portal.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay, so you go northeast, so you're going to come out in yet from the 4th room, you're going northeast, and you come out in yet a 5th room.
Oh my god.
You guys, okay.
I
It's
marked
actually
the
not
floor.
that hard. As hard as I thought. Or maybe it is.
It's as hard as it's becoming. That's how hard it is.
I guess so.
It's as hard
I
as
ran with another group, and they got through it in 20 minutes.
I'm sure they were much brighter than us, but this
Well, I
is
mean, if we follow the arrows, maybe that directly. But I guess our
Yeah,
assumption on the
I mean,
mirror.
we could try to make our way back to the first room.
So I'll send a message to Lindell.
All right.
Yeah, we were wrong.
So
Yeah,
basically,
totally
what
wrong.
happens is that you see Lindell's like just like I am, like on his notepad, he's scratching on a piece of paper, and then he gets this message, and then he just closes his eyes, he rips the piece of the paper out and just tears it to shreds, and he says, "Well, not exactly as we imagined. So he did get to a 4th room when he went to the south, and then he took the northeastern mirror, assuming that would take him back here, and now he's in a 5th room that's completely different. With my connection still to him, I ask if he sees any markings.
And not in the 5th room, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should
I asked the others, should we just try to get back to him and follow his path? So that we're not, or should we just let him pop through?
We have no choice. We have to do what he does, because if he reverses his path and ends up even deeper into the maze, we'll never find him. We still don't know how this thing works.
All right, so we're gonna take his route then.
Why don't we follow him and then just keep going in the same direction?
Right.
So instead of jumping around everywhere, we go south, we get another room. We go south, we get another room. We go south. Whatever direction you pick.
All right. So.
It's like the legend. It's like the Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Snowball supports the South initiative.
If only there was some sort of clues.
Yes. Unfortunately, we found ourselves we put ourselves in the room without the clues. All right. So is the plan then to get back to Dolan, just to so they're all in the same room?
You got it here. Should I come back to you? Try going back the way I can?
No more. We know where his mirrors. We know the path he took. We know where his mirrors go, and as opposed to him just trying different shit and hoping that he gets there. So I just
in your head. Just so you know, a failure is still information. So we learned.
Yeah. No, I just so we know, just so we move on. Are we just going to try to get back to get to John, or are we just going to let John just hop around? Because I know we know. Well, I'm just asking the party. So we know how to get to John. Like we know how to get to Dolan. We know the path that he took. So it'll be easy to find him again.
Well, let's find him and then double back, and see if we can get to a room with the arrows on the floor and use those as clues.
So let's all just take the path that Dolan took. We're gonna go south, then we're gonna go northeast.
Right.
Right. Good.
Okay, so you're with him in a room with no arrows now, by my reckoning.
So now we should
Five
go.
different rooms now.
Now we should go to southeast, and hopefully we'll be back in the room that preceded this one.
Right.
Southwest.
Okay, so
Sorry, southwest. Sorry, southwest.
So
Okay.
I'm just going to save a little time and say eventually you get back to the room where there's a notch pointing to the north and a notch pointing to the south.
Okay.
Room two.
That'll be room 3. Right.
The third room you discovered, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good. So,
South it is, apparently, from
Right.
here.
From that room, yes, we
Yeah.
go south, and we hope that we see another room that has 3 notches on it, indicating the next mirror to go through.
correct.
No, but you see a room that has 1 notch in it pointing to the south.
All right.
That's room 6. I wrote it on the floor.
Thank you.
And not the number. I write 6 because it has to be perfect written.
All right, so do we follow these arrows?
South.
Let's follow the arrows then.
let's follow the arrows then. Yeah, can't hurt, I guess.
South it is.
Okay, so you guys come out on a landing at the top of the stairs. There is a mirror with the reflective side facing you on this landing. It's a long set of stairs leading down. You can see in the wall to the left there are 6 scratch marks. Now, you guys are probably a little more than halfway. I don't know how much longer you want to go.
It does seem like a decent
Been
spot
over
to
for it.
stop if everyone
All
else.
right. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And all right, let's thank you guys for playing. We'll pick this up next time. Andre will let us know that date. I'm going to stop the broadcast, and then we can chat for a minute.
See, this is my notes.